Well, about time.
Yeah, what do you mean? Look, I am 4 minutes early, actually.
4 minutes early. We don't even have the arena set up, Teapot. Like,
What
we
do
got
you
to get
mean?
these gamers gaming, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I'm gonna be over there.
Sitting here talking in a random Twitch chat about, oh, Guardian stability is broken. Of course, Guardian stability is broken. Everybody knows this, Teapot.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
but
If he doesn't know it, then
the chat didn't know.
well, then they're stupid. Like, who cares, man? We got PvP games to do. Come on.
Yeah. All right, I'm in.
My head.
Okay, now the arena's on NA. Enjoy.
All right, great.
Enjoy, Roy.
But we should probably, like change the info and set the maps. Is that all done?
Yeah. That's not done, but that's
okay.
It's gonna be like 2 seconds in. It's gonna be easy. It's not gonna be hard. It's
okay. Working with amateurs here.
Yeah. Oh my God. You call me
I don't get paid enough for this.
Oh, you get paid nothing, right? Okay,
I know.
There you go. All right. Okay. So what maps are we doing for these?
Round 1 will be Forest, Temple, Capricorn.
Ooh. Okay. It is okay. It's set. Hardstuck 1. Same password as yesterday. The maps have been set. I'm in. It's on Forest already. Boom. We're good to go.
These gamers gaming here.
Let's get them going. Cool. Anyway, so, well, obviously I've already been live, guys, but the tournament now has officially started, more or less, right? We are now in the mix big time. Here we go, guys. Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay. We're going to get our teams ready to go very, very quickly. We're going to get them in the arena, and we'll actually begin our matches. You can actually go ahead and take a look at the bracket over there right now. Although, actually, wait, we need to quickly change that link, actually. Actually, oh, yeah, dude, that's showing the very, very old bracket. That's the raid tournament bracket, actually. If you go to, HCL, it's hard to keep track of all these goddamn commands, man. Okay, seriously. Look,
this guy.
I am a pro streamer. I don't have, you know. I am a professional streamer. I know what I'm doing. Right, here you go. Take a look at this bracket here, guys. That's the one you want. I'm just going to remove that. Remove command brackets, actually, because that one's useless. Right, edit command bracket. Boom. There we are. Oh, the teams are here. Wow, they actually have the names there as well. The names have been correctly set up. So, which you should probably do. Oh, what's up?
There's a warrior.
Whoa. A warrior?
So 0 warriors yesterday.
Holy
cow! Yellow class being represented.
That is quite something. But and we'll just go ahead and take a look at the game right now. On the red team is going to be the Seamen Demons going up against the Dream Team over there on blue. Here we'll see the roster of what they're actually going to be playing very, very shortly. But I'm just showing the bracket here as well, guys. So I'll give a bit of a brief introduction here. So because of NA having not quite as many teams, we are actually going to be doing this as a round robin instead of a double elimination to determine the winners. So we have 3 rounds here between these 4 teams. As you can see, for a total of 6 matches. So here we have Seamen Demons versus the Dream Team, loser bracket All-Stars versus Edgy and Sad. Then round 2, we repeat, it's going to be Seamen Demons versus Edgy and Sad, the Dream Team versus loser bracket All-Stars. And the third round will be the Seamen Demons versus loser bracket All-Stars, Edgy and Sad versus the Dream Team. So there you go. 6 games, 6 sets of PvP action. That is how it's going to be. But don't let the small stature of the bracket, okay, deceive you. We are going to be having some insane PvP action here on the NA server here as well. I'm very, very happy, actually, that we're able to actually get these teams playing, getting involved there as well, keeping the NA scene alive the entire time. You know, it's weird, though. Like, is this red team... I could have sworn this red team's EU. Okay? Like, or at least some of them are.
No.
Right?
Like, wait, why did you think that?
Because of Mystery Men. I see this guy on EU. He does, like, EU Daily AT sometimes.
Maybe.
But maybe not.
Maybe
I don't know.
old accounts?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, that is something that could indeed be
Laura is a big NA gamer, so...
Okay. I see it. I see it. So we're waiting for the Dream Team to pop in. I believe the Dream Team... Well, the Dream Team is like the Renji crew, right? I think. Which is content.
Is it? Wait, is Renji playing in this tournament?
I'm not sure if he himself is playing, but I believe some of his known associates, right, are there as well. You know, here we go. I believe here we go. Menu Bitcoin has spawned in there, right? You know, the Bitcoin is here, the Minion Monster, right? I like that. That's that's a good place to be, right? I like to see it. Yes, guys, NA tournament is fully enabled. It is indeed here.
Oh my God, a Tempest. Wow, we're really pulling out all the the daily AT classes.
Yeah,
for this one.
Look, Tempest, you know, and this is actually better as well. This is not just a Tempest. This is a DPS Tempest as well, or at least a hybrid Tempest. It's lightning rod Tempest. This build is actually pretty fun. It's kind of a bog build. Maybe you know, we'll see how it works out here. It could potentially suffer some fairly serious pressure in the team fight, because the red team, Roy, the Seaman Demons, they appear to have a fairly standard comp. They have the good specs here, as we can see here. We have, well, I guess except for the Warrior.
Well, and Warrior.
Yeah, they had the good specs and Warrior tacked onto the end there. Power Herald there, of course. The Support Guardian. The Reaper. You know, we didn't really see Reaper yesterday, did we, from
no,
EU?
We did not.
So it's nice to see that on NA. Like, Reaper is something that you kind of love to see wherever possible. And finally, the Thief and the Warrior there. The Warrior, I mean, actually, it's going to be core Warrior as well. You know, not even the Spellbreaker. This could well be, you know, who knows? Maybe this is a free-to-play player. A free-to-play player representing in the tournament. I love to see that. It's actually not a bad build, though. It's certainly not something you see very often. Like, most Warriors do go for the Spellbreaker setup. But as you can see here, right, you know, it has some pretty strong traits. It can sustain itself quite nicely. You've even got tactics at this point there as well for the shout heal built into it. I mean, wow. Truly incredible, guys. Incredible. Why play Minion Monster over Core Necro? Well, I mean, because it is Core Necro.
Well, unless he's talking about the... Wait, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what he's talking about, to be honest. It is Minion Mancer, and it is also core.
Yeah, it's both.
Minion Mancer is not I mean, it might as well be a spec of Necro, to be fair, but it is not a spec.
I mean, this...
All right, look.
We're seeing more... Whoa. Okay, we actually have basically full trap druid here. I think this guy is going to be petitioning ArenaNet to actually make an elite trap. Just so we can actually get... Look at this entangle on the bar here, Roy. He doesn't want that shit. He wants elite trap in play. Although, I guess the entangle is pretty juicy here, right? Because you can entangle them and then just drop like fucking 3 traps on them. Dude, this will kill you. This will actually mess you up here. Look at that. I mean, the spike trap is like a 1-second bleed, but it's not about that. Look at the flame trap. The 2 stacks of poison on Viper's Nest. 3 pulses. Unblockable. Wow. That's a lot of damage, guys. And here we go. The Scourge... to round out what? Ooh, interesting set, Bill, with the res signet actually, almost you know, the perfect union of the Tempest and the Scourge. The Tempest has like half damage, half support, and the Scourge is half damage, half support. With the blood magic, of course, Corrosive Poison Cloud and Signet of Undeath there.
This is I'm actually pretty surprised that they're playing like the Thief is. Oh wait, never mind. He's playing... it's basically meta. He's just playing the wrong amulet. Or a different amulet, I should say. Not the wrong amulet. Yeah, I mean... The Thief really, I guess, and the Necro are the only sort of meta specs. I mean, I guess you could consider Scourge meta as well. We did see a Scourge yesterday, although that was a DPS Scourge. This is a support Scourge. So slightly, obviously, different. We're just waiting for these teams to ready up, and then they're going to go. But yeah, I mean, I think NA tends to try and... play slightly off meta comps a little bit more than EU does. I think, you know, there's people who they specialize in a certain class, right? Like, so maybe we have a Tempest here who just doesn't want to play Core Guardian. We have a well, I guess a Warrior player who doesn't want to play anything else, even though Warrior has been unfortunately kind of shoved to the back of the PvP scene consistently. And, you know, obviously Druid, we did see a Druid yesterday, I believe, but it didn't have very much success. And this is obviously not the decap build that you would sort of expect. Although, I mean, he does have longbow, or oh no, has shortbow. Never mind. Okay, yeah, definitely not any sort of decap there. But yeah, you know, definitely some interesting comps, some different from what we're used to, I think. And obviously we'll have to see how that plays out. My bet is that I think we're going to see a little bit of a stronger showing from Red Team. I think they're a little bit more of an organized team. This is a team that's been around. Like, they played in the other the first open bracket we had. They've played in a lot of our tournaments. So they're definitely more of a consistent team. I think this Dream Team is a little bit more of a newer team, a little bit fresher players. But
yep.
Either way, here we go. Round number 1, game number 1 for our first round robin match of the day. It's the NA open bracket. Let's see what happens.
I think, you know, you can look at these builds and go, yeah, they're maybe not the exact perfect builds. I wouldn't write them off, though. You know, I think Druid, you know, in and of itself is not a bad build, right? Like, it's not bad. it's perfectly playable. And, you know, we've seen, you know, for example, the team on EU that plays it a fair bit is, you know, Prestige, or rather whatever team Pain and Aeon are playing with, right? You know, Pain or the Aeon always has a lot of success there. Oh, the Druid actually identifies the push here as well. Wait, is he not? He's not going to engage that though, right? Look at that stealth. Look at that Trapper Rune, Roy. Actually putting in the work there. They can't find him whatsoever. He actually survives, like 3 players from Red pushing over. However, he is still going to have 2 on him now. The Thief and, of course, the Reaper converging on the Druid. But the Druid is actually surviving really nicely. However, the traps are all gone now. So I think he might be pushing his luck a little bit and might now feed very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he had used his traps a little bit smarter and held them a little bit better, he would have been able to survive for a bit longer just utilizing that stealth. It did take 3 players a decent amount of time to take him out, but unfortunately, Blue Team doesn't really get anything from that. They started pushing into far, I think maybe a little bit slower than what they would have wanted to do if they'd wanted to try to support the Druid. But it is going to be the 2vX of the core Minion Mancer and the Tempest, so obviously they should be able to sustain this for a good amount of time. They're playing pretty warily, though, not really pushing directly into the node. And the 4-man rotation here now from the red team is going to be pretty strong. The Tempest picking a lot of pressure. He does have Mistform to get him out of danger for a couple of moments, but he's got to be very careful. That's basically his last cooldown, and yeah, he's going to be taken out here. So, unfortunately, this rotation just doesn't really get them much. The other Scourge, another Necro, the Thief coming over to the side of the map as well. The Druid going to be back in off of respawn, but it's just a very, very slow movement from this team.
Yeah, I mean, Red Team also zerging pretty hard. They are beginning to win this fight, but Blue Team is actually still maintaining control over middle. They're going to go for this reso with the Blood Res onto the Thief. I don't think they get that, though. In fact, they might pay the price. In fact, I think they are. That Scourge going to go down there as well. And Menu Bitcoin in a lot of trouble as well. The Scourge actually gets out. But for how long? I think that will cost the Minion Mancer his life. It does. No Signet available. The Scourge is too low. Yeah, can't even use it. The HP cost is simply too expensive. And now the Scourge is about to get collapsed upon there by the Reaper, the Thief, and the Revenant. And that leaves the original gangster. Well, he won't have his life, but he will at least have originality, I suppose. But there you go. Oh, gets the dodge, but that's it for him. And Red Team just kind of crushing these fights. And even though the game is taking a while to really, you know, the points are fairly close right now, I think we're going to start seeing Red Team take a pretty big lead here. Warrior 1v1 here into the Druid. That'll be an interesting thing to kind of keep an eye on there. We actually already have the Minion Mancer pushing there as well. And Red Team not actually, maybe zerging a little bit too much. Not having an easy time controlling the map. But their power in the fights is really going to give them some value in the long term in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously cleaned up several kills. They went for the Beast there to give themselves an additional 25 points. But I don't know why so many of them stayed there. They should have just really had one person stay to cap, maybe one person go to the Beast, or just send everyone there to the Beast so it's faster. But they have moved into this map very slowly. We see the Guardian and the Necro still around mid, although they're going to be going for the decap there. See, man, God, the Thief, he's going to be going over for the rotation, plus this Warrior who was holding 2 players. But Red Team really need to lock down a couple of nodes because they've gotten several kills. They've gotten nodes here and there, but they haven't really held many. And that's why we do see the points really not that far ahead, even though they've gotten way more kills than Blue Team. Once again, we're going to see a bit of a team fight brewing around the Henge node. Red Team going to be pulling back there to try and defend it. Original Gangster in the Tornado, very low. Doesn't have the time to get to his Mistform. Oh my god, that cleave from the Reaper is absolutely demolishing his health bar. He's gone. We're going to see the Scourge do his best to just die on node and sustain for a couple more seconds. But yeah, I mean, you know, they're not really grouping up properly, this Blue Team. They're not really gaining anything from these fights that they're taking. And they're also just hard losing the rest of the map, even if it is a pretty slow bit of progress here for this Red Team as well.
Yep, the Red Team building up their advantage, bleeding out the Scourge over here. Blue, they're actually going to almost regroup on their enemy's far node. I like that. It's kind of asserting dominance over the mine there, but it might backfire a little bit. The Red Team kind of looking to actually push again towards the Henge. They're probably looking to catch respawns, I believe. Blue now pushing towards mid. They will actually find a 3v3 that they should be okay in there. They have the Necro, the support, and their own Thief. So if they can maybe eliminate a player here, take out Zarkion real quick, that could be pretty good. But maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think one of the bigger weaknesses of this comp that the Blue Team are running is that they really don't have a lot of damage outside of maybe the Thief. But again, like I said, he has actually swapped to Berserker Amulet over Marauder. And he's going to be the main source of damage, which isn't really what you want. You don't really want your team fight damage to be coming from your Thief. It's just not really what you should be looking for. If they were simply only playing around him plussing side nodes, although he is about to potentially take out this Reaper, doing quite a bit of pressure to it. Cluster shots from above going to be taking quite a bit of health out of him. They are also outnumbering a little bit for now, which is part of the reason that we see him so low. But he's doing a really nice job of utilizing his ports and kiting around very well. Strad can keep him alive for a couple more seconds. Heartseeker's on top of the blue team Thief. Might be enough to get him down. Actually have a blinding powder here from the Thief as well. He's getting CC'd now. They're turning the pressure around on him. Is going to be downstate. There should be a signet coming out for him. Let's see if they're going to be able to get it. Yes. Signet going to be confirmed here from the red team, and they're going to be able to continue fighting. Blue team have turned the map, though. This is actually a very good fight for them so far, as long as they can hold on to Henge. But the red team Thief, a little bit tricky here. They got to make sure they don't let that decap happen for free. Unfortunately, they do. They get a kill out of it, though, and if they can find a follow-up kill onto the Guardian, it would be worth it. But the Thief overextending here from blue team, and he's going to be taken out there by the supplier.
The supplier. Dude, I like that.
And the slurper.
Yeah, the slurper and the supplier. Oh, God.
These are some names.
Yeah, the god. The Seamen god. The Seamen Spectre. Seamen Supplier. And Seamen Slurper. That is quite the name right there. That really is. But red team continuing to clean up these team fights fairly consistently. You know, blue team, they definitely had a little bit of life for them where they were able to maintain that 2-cap, but they just pushed their luck a little bit over on the Henge, like losing their Necromancer and the Tempest at the same time, or rather the Scourge and the Tempest at the same time. I think was pretty bad. Okay, they need to hold off and try and survive there, but sadly, you know, they're kind of like halfway houses, right? Like they're half a support, half a DPS. Doesn't tend to work out super well all the time.
Yeah, this is kind of a similar, I think, issue that we saw one of the EU teams running yesterday. The name of which is escaping me, but they had several, you know, their comp was obviously not really standard, just like this blue team's comp isn't. And they had several side noters, but they just really didn't have damage for the team fights or the fights that they were taking. And it definitely ended up costing them and hurting them in the long run. And I think we see the same thing here. They've got a side noter in the core necro, rather. They've got a side noter potentially in the druid. Even the Scourge could almost side note a little bit. But certainly the Scourge and the Core Guardian are a decent team fight. You know, they have decent team fight potential, but then they have 2 side noters and then the Thief. And it just really isn't, or Tempest, excuse me. It just really isn't going to be, they're not going to get a lot of value from it. Again, I think a lot of these fights shouldn't really go their way. The Tempest as well isn't running the glyph, so they don't have any real res utility outside of maybe the Necros resing if they're both running blood. But it is, I think, going to be a little bit harder. Ooh, we do see a DC on the red team.
Yeah, there's a DC, and we now see the blue team winning a fight. Perhaps as a result of that, Seamen Spectre and Seamen God are both in the downside. If the Druid could actually get some work done here on the Rev, that would actually be a very favorable map state. And actually, the Druid does get the decap against the Revenant. Of course, the remainder of the blue team will now be able to reinforce this. So Red are going to be in a bit of a weird spot there. We are past the time. What is it with this turret, right? Okay, everyone's disconnecting the entire time. It's like actually permanent.
It's almost certainly Arc DPS and DX11 crashes.
Yeah, okay,
I mean,
like let's go ahead and remind them.
Yeah,
I think after this game we will go ahead and remind. Yeah, they lost their supplier, right? Like the Seaman supply was gone, so they lost.
Yeah. How are they going to be able to win if they have no one to supply them with Seamen? It's just, you know, it's not possible. But, oh, look at that. Coming back from the
supply.
DC.
That's a
gets
big
a huge
load.
Signet.
It's a big load all over that Rev right there, getting him back up on his feet. However, the Revenant, rather Necromancer, is down again. That's going to be difficult to us. But actually, the Tempest from Blue is down. Can they get that revived? They actually can, but they've got to find this skill. They need to confirm this onto the Revenant. Onto the Necromancer, sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know the difference in Necro and Rev. But anyway, here we go. Can they clear this out? The red team going for that revive. The Tempest moving in there with the CC. I think the blue team actually should be able to win this fight. At least a little bit. Can they get the Necro? They actually have the Rev down there as well. The Druid going for the Stealth Stomp. And red team actually in a bit of a precarious situation. They cannot really afford to actually feed too much here, or as they will end up behind in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a note here, you know, just going off what I was talking about before, the Scourge actually running the res signet himself, so that's why maybe we don't see the glyph on the Tempest. But I don't really like that as much. I think it's a little bit better to you know, have the res utility on the Tempest, because the Scourge is probably going to be able to do a little bit more in 1v1s than the Tempest would. Therefore, you want the Tempest rotating a little bit more than the Scourge. Obviously, they're probably going to try to mostly stick together. But if you force the res utility to be on the Scourge, it means that the Tempest isn't, you know, or rather the Scourge has to rotate a little bit more than the Tempest, depending on the rotations, obviously. And I just think that's a little bit of a weaker choice. I think the Glyph also is probably stronger. You can res at 100% HP with the water glyph. You could res and then potentially res yourself with the fire glyph. which is really good utility to have in certain fights if you're getting focused down, which on Tempest is very important since you are a very good target for a lot of classes and a lot of fights.
Gets it, actually. Yeah, you're absolutely right, though. Like, you know, it is an unconventional build, and I do agree. I think the reason we see the Signet on the Scourge is because of the Tempest being a bit more damage-oriented, and therefore kind of needing to go for a little bit more defensive capability. Can't really afford to fit the Signet in there, like running all these, that triple cantrip there. Of course, the Scourge does end up doing that. I think Red Team probably still wins the game from this position, as the Seamen supply was able to reconnect in relatively short order. But there is actually a double cap now. I think Beast and holding 2-cap actually wins for blue, I believe. So Red are not, they're not totally in the clear.
There's going to be a decap at Henge, I believe, yes. The blue team Thief actually getting a very nice decap here. Red team, obviously the DC certainly threw them for a little bit, but they are having a little bit of trouble, I think, figuring out exactly what they want to do with this game. They're kind of all over the place. We've seen a couple of team fights that they've done well in, but they've also lost a team fight or two. You know, we haven't really, you know, I think we've seen Zarkian being sort of the most consistent from this team, where he's constantly being, you know, pushing it afar and trying to hold 1vx when blue team rotates into him. The Thief has plussed him a little bit, as we can see him doing here, but I don't think it's been very effective, although we are going to see a kill coming out here on to the Tempest. Very good. Unfortunately, they don't have the Scourge with him, so there's no res utility there unless he can just hard res, which I think is going to be a little bit easier said than done. That being said, though, blue team are stalling. They're doing a really good job of stalling. They have the double cap, even though it doesn't show up, so Henge and Mine still confirmed for them. They're going to see Mine probably decapped in a moment as the Tempest gets cleaved out there. The Necro are going to have to leave. But still, they are catching up. They're only 50 points behind.
Yeah, and they're actually doing okay on this middle fight. They're actually winning it. Like the Reaper here from Red having a lot of trouble. No fall, and the Scourge does get isolated there. There's no peel for the Scourge left over. They're going to have to try and revive that, I think, to hold on. The Tempest is moving towards middle. Might be able to get a very cheeky revive on this Reaper. Oh, the Necro. That would be really nice, actually. The Thief is available, but with the stability, I think the Thief might not be able to get that. And there we go. There's the res. That's actually a pretty damn big res. If they could somehow manage to stabilize this fight, they are in a good spot. The Thief of Blue, though, getting chased down very heavily there by the Seamen Slurper. But Red now get mid, so Blue need to win this fight now. They've got their Necromons and the Tempest, but the Tempest is so pressured right now, and is going to go to, oh, and so does the Thief. Oh, an explosive
and the core Necro,
finish to the game. Yeah, everyone is going down there. Massive damage from the Reaper and that Power Herald on the Red team. And the Seamen Demons, yeah, I believe that is the GG call there as well, actually, from Original Gangster there as well. Of course, the game will end more or less when these respawns come through, but wow, what an opener to the NA bracket. I think what I do want to see, Roy, and you pointed this out earlier, and definitely correct, I'd very much agree, is that Red, I think they need a game plan, right? It was a little bit, I don't want to say it, but a little bit ranked-like, you know? It was kind of you know, everyone's kind of doing their own thing, like assuming that it's a bit of a 1v9 situation, like running all over the place. I want to see what is the plan. Are they just going to force a team fight? Are they going to zerg around all over the place? What are they going to do, right? They need to figure out how to play this game to make it a little bit cleaner, because I think they are strong players. They have a strong comp, strong team, but they need to figure out what their approach to playing the matches is going to be.
Absolutely. And, you know, on the same sort of vein, I would like to see some comp swaps coming out from Blue Team. I hope they're not leaving the arena, because they're supposed to stay.
I think they're just, I don't know what they're doing, actually. I think that some of them are going spectating.
That might be swapping. Yeah, that might be swapping. Of course. 17.
It's possible. It is.
Okay, they're going to be, yeah, they're restarting, yeah. But yeah, I think what, you know, so obviously with Blue Team's comp, you know, we were talking a little bit about it before. I think they have one too many side noters, and they also, you know, the Thief again is really, I think, the strongest sort of part of their comp. Straight up, I think the Tempest isn't, they're not going to get as much from it as I think maybe they're trying to. I think it's a cool idea going for some sort of like hybrid build there with the DPS and the support and everything, but I just don't think it's as effective as running a natural support, whether that is staying on the Tempest and just going to Earth or Fire, depending on what you want to run, or going over to Core Guardian. Core Guardian probably the better option, but if you are, you know, just a straight up a Tempest main, maybe you stick with the Tempest. But I think going for this sort of hybrid amalgamation on this Tempest doesn't work. And honestly, I mean, like having a Herald, having maybe a DPS holo would probably benefit them a lot more than having either this Druid or this. I mean, I actually think they should probably get rid of the Druid and keep the Minimancer. But it's just, you know, it's the same thing as that EU team that we saw yesterday. Their comp isn't really going to be able to perform in a lot of situations. And they also weren't really playing around it as much as I think they should have had. You know, they really should have, if they wanted to, focus on having the Thief rotate into either that Druid or the Minion Mancer and try to generate kills from that, and maybe have the Scourge and the Tempest roam together. But we didn't really see that happening too much. I think they did spread out a little bit too much as well. And certainly the Druid not getting support early on in that initial engage. You know, he's sustained for a decent amount of time, but he just didn't have his team rotating in quick enough. So they've got to, you know, keep that in mind a little bit, I think, if they want to be able to do a little bit better here. But Temple, a very different map from Forest.
Exactly, it is, and this is something that I think the blue team's comp can work a little bit better on. You know, we did see a little bit of rotational hesitancy from the red team here, so this could actually be a problem here. And there's a lot of 1v1 potential with the Minion Monster and the Druid here, the Thief for fast rotations. You know, the team fight isn't, like, horrible either as well, right? Like, if you imagine the 3v3, right, you have the Scourge, the Minion Monster, and Tempest. Even though it isn't a full support Ellie, you know, the barrier from the Scourge is going to help out there a little bit. It's not completely, you know, it's not bad. I think the damage of the Reaper is definitely a problem here, because this Ellie is going to get shredded by the Reaper to an insane degree. Like, the Lightning Rod will help out there with the weakness to keep the damage in check there, but still very, very difficult, I think, to play into this. But it's a good map for them, right? They will be able to rotate around it and take these fights, take these 1v1s, 2v2s, abusing that Thief. Let's see if they can make it work here. They are now pretty much locked in. Same comps, I believe, for both teams after a quick restart to make sure that they aren't going to crash themselves during a vital game.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I mean, it's unfortunate. Obviously, DX11, I think most people have wanted it for a really long time, and obviously, I mean, it's really good, but it's not really good when it crashes you every hour or so. So probably best to wait for ArenaNet to fix that. But we're not here to talk about DX11. We're here to talk about these games. Game number 2 coming out. Of course, these matches are all going to be best of 3. So at the moment, it is 1-0 for the Ocean Dwellers on the red team. Let's see if they can make it a 2-0, or if we're going to see Temple go the way of blue team.
70, go check that out right now. Blue team already pushing towards middle. The Druid doing the same thing, about to hold. Let's see if we see another push. It's a push last time from red. Looks like they want to go for it with the, you know, the Reaper and the Thief and the Guard, actually. It's a very aggressive push onto this Druid. Let's see if the Druid can hold. If the Druid can hold, this is good. Let's see what he tries to do here. Like, the traps are going down, but it looks like he's trying to fight instead of kite, and he just gets punished for it. Oh, no.
Yeah. And this is, you know, a comment I made yesterday. I think, again, I really got to figure out which team we were spectating when I did it. That EU team that were running several of those side noters, they weren't taking advantage of kite spots. They weren't really, you know, playing as you would see, you know, most side noters go for. Where I think Zarkian was actually a really good example of kiting very hard when he was getting pushed on mine a lot by more than one player. I'm going to hold that thought for a second. As the original Gangster Tempest taking a ton of cleave damage from this Rampage coming out from the Warrior, he's going to be very low. There's a decent amount of damage turned back on to the Revenant here from red team, but they're going to be able to clean that up pretty nicely. I think his sustain, his heal is going to keep him alive for now. The Thief and the Corneck are going to have to just leave. We do see the Thief team from blue team trying to come in, the Scourge coming in from blue team to try and peel them out, but I'm actually not sure if they're really trying to leave. The Scourge moving towards the node, and there's a little bit of separation between this team, a little bit of miscommunication perhaps. CC chained down by the Warrior is going to be able to get him down to about half health. And actually, I think, is that a transfuse take bringing the Cornecker up? It is. Unfortunately, not going to be able to find that res. And red team, kind of similar start to last game, where they're just cleaning kills up left and right. We do see the Tempest coming back in, looking for a hard res onto the Scourge. At the moment, looking good, and he is going to be able to get it. Red team just not having the cleave or the CC to stop him, but 3 players here. The cooldown's not really in favor of blue team, and I think they are going to probably end up losing at least 1 more, probably 2 more players.
They are indeed, and blue just not leaving that fight. They just kept pushing it. Even the respawn from the Tempest are just pushing into it again and getting punished for it. They actually do manage to get the map of that, so, you know, by running in, and the Ellie gets out, so they actually find themselves ahead in that game, despite essentially feeding a few kills into their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's really the same story we saw last game, where red team are a little bit slower to rotate than maybe they should be, but because of the kills they've gotten here, they're going to have a stronger map advantage in the long run. The difference between points is negligible, and red team should have a much better control here of a middle node. The other thing, too, is, I mean, there aren't actual respawns coming out of blue team right now, but as you can see, the Cornecker already going to die just because of how isolated he was, the cooldowns. not really going to be in favor of blue team because of the players that they'd originally lost. Although we do see the Signet coming out from the Scourge here onto the core Necro. Big Tornado coming out from Original Gangster as well. And that is going to put a lot of CC and pressure onto the Revenant here. He might actually go down. He is going to be brought down. Let's see if there's going to be a Signet here for him. No, Fear actually going to stop the Signet from happening, but a line of sight Signet here is going to be good, so the Revenant will be back up. Red team actually leaving this fight. They're going to stay here 3 versus 4, so outnumbered. Revenant will die on node. I don't know if this is going to be a res. The Reaper is there. Blood res is going to be enabled, and with the Guardian helping, yep, that is going to be a second time the Revenant gets back up. We just see Thief coming back in now after getting that decap onto Altar, so the target's still going to be onto this core Necro. Scourge doesn't have the Signet anymore, but there still might be res potential here. However, the cleave from Red Team going to be very good with that Revenant, with that Reaper, with that Thief, and so far looking like the fight is going the way of the Seamen Demons. Red Team taking it back, even though they had to hold it outnumbered for a little while, and now the Tempest is going to fall.
Yeah, and with that, the resources have now been spent for the blue team. They will be kind of a good hold there by them to try and keep on that fight. But of course, the red team slightly better in that situation, coming back in that team fight very, very nicely. And Zarkin getting a kill on the Thief up top. There's a forcing the Druid to respond. Might actually just skip and go directly for the decap, but of course the red Thief doing the same over there, dude. The actual Ancient Seeds, the Entangle, denying the capture there of Zarkin onto the top of there. But Seamen suppliers now arrive. Might go for a cheeky knock here to knock him down so they can get it, but no, that's not going to happen, at least for the time being. But still, red team now in a very, very good position to push ahead in this game. If they can grab that stillness buff, they are going to get a huge lead with those 2 nodes. However, we do actually see a Thief attempting a decap. The Druid still trying to move towards that node, but the Revenant here actually, the Seamen Slurper, looking to devour the Druid.
Yeah, and, you know, I really want to see blue team try and leverage the fact that they have more side noders than red. The Revenant, the Herald here from red team, I think if he rotates into this Druid, or if he rotates into, I mean, even the Scourge, either of the Necros really, he's going to have a hard time. He's not going to be able to really do much there, as long as, you know, they don't get plussed. And have the Thief, have him follow up on wherever that Revenant goes, wherever maybe the red team Thief goes, and really try to, again, take advantage of the fact that they have more side noders than blue team, but they're team fighting way too much right now. And obviously, you know, they're forced to team fight into some of these buffs. You know, when stillness pops up, if they already, you know, if they don't have some sort of a map advantage that allows them to get the buffs for free, they might have to team fight into a little bit, as we see them do, and they're kind of just feeding kills here now. But, you know, if they're able to just out-rotate red team, they might be able to take the fight a little bit more to them. But these team fights they're taking just have almost never gone their way. I think they won 1 or 2 on Forest there, and it's certainly not going their way at all here. You know, again, we saw that 4v3 where red team eventually came back when the Thief was able to rotate in, gaining a lot of map advantage as well. And I just don't think it's a really good strat from blue team if they want to run the comp that they are.
Exactly right. Yeah, I think what you said just completely underlines it. You know, blue, they are just playing into the red team's game plan, right? The red team's game plan here is team fighting, right? It is killing stuff. And that's not really what the blue team's comp should be doing. It is something that I think is actually quite difficult to do. Like, dictating the flow of the game is a really hard skill to learn, I think, in Guild Wars 2 PvP. And blue team just need to kind of go along that path there and understand what they should be doing. And they're almost doing it now, right? We actually do have this far push coming out here. If they leave the minion mons here and then, you know, rotate, say, to mid or back to their own home node, they can then maybe start to rotate between that and spread the red team out and deny those team fights. But so far, red team just maintained that. That Warhorn 5 was actually insane. Nearly killing the Thief there. Yeah, that Tempest Warhorn absolutely slapping there with the minion man. So the Thief able to just barely get out there. But, ooh, there's no one on the bottom of front for the blue team. However, the Thief does arrive there. The Reaper is isolated without the Guardian. This could be a potential quick pickup if the blue team reacts quickly to this.
Yeah, Thief in a lot of trouble, though. Had to use his Dagger Storm inside that Fear Ring. He almost got taken out. But yeah, blue team heavily rotating onto Tranquility. They are going to be looking for a kill here on this Reaper. He does have a decent amount of cooldowns and the Guardian coming in now, so they probably will be able to sustain. There's downstates, though. Thief, as well as the Revenant going to be in downstate. Lich doing a ton of damage here, but the Signet from the Guardian is going to be really good. They do get the res, however, onto the Thief, but they're going to have to be able to try to follow up damage onto that Revenant if they want to be able to sustain. The Thief just not in a good position in this fight, and he's going to be brought down for a second time. A lot of pressure coming out on the blue team. The Scourge going to be brought into downstate. The Tempest, excuse me, is going to be very low as well. Mistform coming out, trying to go for the res here. Almost gets it, but the Staff 5 at the last second, going to knock him away. That would have been a very, very good res. Air Overload putting a lot of pressure down. That is going to bring the Reaper into downstate, but I think the Thief will end up rallying him. He will, unfortunately. And with that Scourge in downstate already, I just don't think the blue team have any chance to come back into this fight. Druid as well, forced to leave the node that he was trying to 1v1 on. He is going to make a rotation all the way across the map, but unfortunately for them, that's bottom buff basically confirmed for red team. And this Druid's rotation is going to be sort of negated by that.
Yep, and there it is. There's the reset, unfortunately, for the Druid. You'll be able to go ahead and get that back real quick, or at least get it to a neutral state. But yeah, that team fight was really unfortunate. I think blue team really had a shot there. If they could have confirmed that kill on the Reaper, or the Revenant rather, they could have then snowballed that fight. But sadly, the Signet war and the support war was favored towards red. Red just were able to stabilize and get their HP bars back up in a way that blue simply wasn't, like losing that thief immediately. And now red team is on a war path. They've got the upper hand right now. They've got the advantage, and they're looking for more kills.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the buffs present a sort of a double-edged sword here for this blue team, where on one hand it means that red team have more sort of points or nodes they have to cover, and again, that could benefit blue team. But at the same time, it does, again, force them into those team fights if they don't already have an advantage. We just saw in Tranquility, where they had a massive rotation come out. They had potential to take a fight, but then the the red team, because their comp is just straight up better in team fights, they ended up coming back from potentially a deficit there, and were able to win that, and then, of course, turn that into the triple cap with the buffs. Again, though, I just want to say, I don't think the red team is necessarily winning as hard as I think they could. This map does present, obviously, some problems, but certainly on Forest they weren't. I think, as I mentioned, it seems like sometimes their game plan just isn't quite there. It isn't quite, the strongest. They're not all on the same page, really. And so I think they do want to try to figure that out. Obviously, they're winning. Obviously, it looks like they might be winning game 2 and making this a clean 2-0. But they do want to make sure that, if, they're ready for the other two teams in this round robin bracket, which they do have to face. It's obviously round robin, so they have to fight everyone.
Indeed, yeah, it's not over for the blue team. In fact, they're going to have plenty more games to go there. And yeah, I think it will be very interesting to see the red team actually face off against some of the other teams. I think a team to watch out for is definitely loser bracket all stars. They're all around here as well. There's some strong teams in this round robin bracket, and I think they might end up having to up their game a little bit to actually compete into some of these teams that are perhaps a little bit more organized here, or maybe just adapting on the fly and figuring out what they need to be doing and what they want to be doing in these games. Because this is, they're obviously winning. They're playing well here. They're getting these solid team fight style, very much sought out there. But I think they do need to clean it up a little bit.
I mean, actually, I think their team fight is probably the strongest strength that I've seen so far. I think their rotations are just too slow. Is the main thing, especially on a map where you have to be able to rotate very, very well. We're not seeing it as much. Blue team actually having slightly faster rotations in some cases. Obviously, again, it doesn't end up mattering. Their comp is just straight up weaker. But the team fight's definitely, I think, I'd say a strength there from red team, and they really want to focus on that. If they can win these team fights consistently, they really want to try to abuse that fact, make it the main focus of the games, and really turn that into map advantages elsewhere, especially when map mechanics are coming up. But obviously the game not over 100%. There's still 4 minutes left with, buffs as well in about 30 seconds or so, excuse me, a minute and a half. There's maybe a chance for blue team to do something here, but I think the time is really against them. I think they're too far behind at this point. And again, if they can't win team fights, I mean, if you can't win team fights and you're behind, you basically lose the game. There's really the best comeback mechanic of any game is winning team fights when you're behind. And if you can't win team fights, it's going to be extremely difficult to do that.
Indeed it is. And, well, the game is now getting towards its conclusion at this point here. The Thief zerging towards the Necromancer. The blue team, having lost one of that player, the team fight will collapse for them shortly. And I think this is one thing that I think the blue team needs to recognize, and they kind of do it here, actually, as I say that. They need to be leaving these fights that they aren't going to win, right? Like, this is what goes wrong for them a few times, I think, in the previous 2 games that we saw here. They would be in a bad situation to kind of just keep committing to it instead of trying to get away and end up losing a bunch of players. Something that we saw from a lot of the really strong teams yesterday, the Quaggons, right, the blue team, is that when they would start losing a fight, they would try and lose as few players as possible, right? They would try and disengage immediately. Whereas blue, they're ride or die, Roy. They're in there until the end. Like, if they die, they die. They go all in, and if they feed, they feed.
Yeah, I mean, and I gotta respect it, right? They're still just trying to win these fights, even though they've lost almost all of them. Still trying to work with the kind of off meta comp that they are running, the classes they're running. But at some point, you know, you have to decide, all right, do we want to win the game or do we want to just kind of play with our comp and have fun? And obviously, if that's the case, you know, fair enough, more power to them. But either way, that is going to be GG. Yeah, I mean, it's GG. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh!
Here's the comeback, boys. All right. Tranquility confirmed here for blue team. That's the triple cap for about 2 seconds. Middle node going to be decap. Blue team have to stop them from being able to cap this, or the game's over 13 points for red team. I don't think they're in a position to do so. It looks like the cap's going to be good. The line stopping the sniper from getting out, yeah, that's going to be the cap, and red team can pretty easily just tunnel into this node.
It's just the Guardian.
Wait, the Guardian actually leaving. He's gonna give it up. I mean,
there's a kill happening on the map though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And actually, blue team needs the buff too. They need the top buff. They don't have enough time to get enough points unless they get that and a triple cap, which they've now already lost. So it is still going to be the GG here. Red team just capturing the temple over here. Should have that in a few seconds, and the game will end very, very quickly.
Yeah, and that's GG. Yep. So it is gonna be the 2-0 for the Sea Men Demons. Let me just.
It's a good team name, guys. It really is. It is a good, pretty intense stuff there as well.
Salty Sea Dogs.
Yeah, they are indeed. Yeah, it's all this, guys. You know, it's nothing weird about that name. I don't know why everyone's like laughing about this. So it's not funny. It's just like a normal team name, guys. It's let's be adult about this. And now I believe it is the loser bracket All Stars. It's a pretty good
name as well. They actually played in the last open bracket we had, and I really do like their name. I'm a fan of it.
It is a good name.
Yeah.
Versus Edgy and Sad. You know, I feel bad, though, for the loser bracket All-Stars, because there is indeed no loser bracket today. It does not exist.
That's true. They actually, unfortunately, will not have a chance to be in the losers bracket. You kind of hate to see it. But yeah, no, I like their team name. I liked it when we saw it last time. I don't quite remember how far they got. I think they probably were in the middle of the pack when we saw them in the first open bracket. But they've obviously had several months to practice since then. Maybe they've changed something up a little bit. A couple of strong ranked cures that we have in their team. Para Shoots probably will be a recognizable name for a lot of people who play on an A. But this blue team, who were kind of a last-minute sign-up, I think are going to have some pretty strong players. I think that we're going to see them have a very good time here. And we can already see their comp coming in. I'm assuming the last person will be a core guardian. You'd hope to see that anyways.
Yeah, I'd very much expect that to be the case.
But yeah, I think most people also recognize D, a very a rather well-known player on an A, I'd say, who consistently has some good teams there in ATs and stuff. So I think this blue team is definitely going to be one of the stronger ones to look at.
Indeed. Oh wait. Okay, this is someone I did not expect to see here. This is actually Fake Torben, aka Phoenix. Actually.
Yes.
Yeah. You know this guy's banned from our Discord, right?
Yes. I don't know who banned him. You know what? We don't have to talk about
I think it was you.
Well, no, I don't think so. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. No reason to worry about that now.
Yeah, I mean there is not. There is indeed no reason to be worried about that. Here he is. The big man here. So, on Edgy and Sad, it is depressing on the DP Shadow Art Steve. Res God X on the support Scourge. Still playing the same build there, not the conditioned Scourge that a few players are starting to move towards now. We have the Power Herald here from Nakadashi and Misfire NG on Prot Hollows. It's almost like a bit of a last meta comp, right? This is like what everyone was playing, you know, like 3 months ago, right? It's a bit of a blast from the past here, with the protection also on the sides instead of the minion monster, the Scourge, Rev, and Guardian for the team fight, and of course the Thief for running around very, very quickly. But here we go. The loser bracket all-stars are also loading in.
Would you mind giving me admin in this arena, by the way, so I can start banning the people who aren't leaving?
Oh,
so you
wow.
don't have to do it?
Yep, I will indeed.
I'm trying to cheat, man.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Are they actually? I think they're probably just forgetting.
No, I'm memeing.
Wait, Roy 5612, right?
No, 5639.
5639, dude. All these
on my
different
main.
Roys. There we go. Done. It is unleashed. You are now and now. Yeah, you might like leave and rejoin or something. Who needs to? I can purge anyone.
Lucho and Leo.
Yeah, I can purge them. Right,
they were from the Dream Team.
Ban, right, purged. Let me unban them real quick. Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual system, guys. Don't question it, but the ban system Well, rather the kick system. Like, you can't actually kick someone; it doesn't work. You have to actually ban them and then unban them. It's the only way. Don't really know why that's the case. It just is the case. But yeah, that's what it is. That's how custom arenas work, guys. Right? It's what we have to deal with. It's what we live with. Anyway, we see a fairly similar roster loading in. If we see a Necromancer, sorry, a Revenant that will complete the set for blue. The Thief here matching into D. Tiny Lepra going to be the core, not the minion mons here. So it might actually be, we have the core Ranger going to be the duelist here for the red team with Para. The support Guardian, of course, from Helpful Tick. Got TYC. I don't know what's going on there. Like, you know, it's a ladder, right? And of course, one more player who doesn't even exist yet. Big Necro team fight here as well.
Apparently, he was on the wrong class, is what he was saying.
Oh, dear. I mean, what a mistake.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
hold on.
Wait, hang on.
Okay, he's gonna have to change because obviously they can't run 2 core guardians.
Oh, I believe this will be a Dragon Hunter. I think from Fogcentric.
Yes, there it is.
Is what I'm expecting. Yep, we do indeed have
Very
a
cool.
Dragon Hunter. Yes, I believe we did not really see much Dragon Hunter yesterday, but now we do. Quite a powerful specialization, particularly in ranked. Let's see how it's going to work out here. Of course, it does do quite the damage these days, right? With a Berserker Amulet, Ruin of the Trapper, you can run around in stealth there and survive quite well, and bring some serious damage, right? Big DPS here, kind of fulfilling the Revenant role here, a bit of roaming teamfight damage.
Yeah. You know, I think oddly enough, the last tournament we ran, the last HCL we ran, there were a lot of Dragon Hunters, right? That burn DH build was very prevalent at the time. I believe. Could be mistaken, but I think we did see some DHs on some teams. Obviously, it's fallen out of the meta pretty hard, that build anyways. We do see the power DH build used in ranked a decent amount, but I think a lot of the more competitive matches, a lot of the ATs and higher sort of ranked teams aren't really running DH. But, you know, still a decent build. I don't really think we shouldn't really see him, you know, 1v1ing. We really should mostly just see him in these team fights, I think. Potentially rotating and +1ing, you know, he can take advantage of that super speed from his Trapper Rune to boost himself around the map a little bit. But mostly the 1v1 should be focused on this core Ranger. The Necro on the red team actually just running DPS Necro. It's not going to be a Minion Mancer. So they only do have one side noter with that Ranger. I think this is a strong comp. I think it's obviously a little different from what we're used to seeing in a lot of the sort of meta comps with that DH, with the core Necro not being minion. But you know, I think it's a pretty good comp on the blue team side of things, though. The Hollowsmith, obviously, a pretty strong class, has 2 decent builds. We just didn't really see a lot of them yesterday. We only saw, I think, 1 or 2 DPS NGs. We saw a couple of Prot Hollows. This one is going to be Prot, so it will be that side node option in place of the Ranger. The Scourge, though. Interesting build that this guy's running. It's going to be DPS, but it's Sage.
Yeah, this is kind of like, this is an option that you see in play a fair bit. So you want to maintain your blood magic here, so you have a bit of healing there, some barrier support there with desert empowerment and so on like that. But you also want to still kind of increase the damage output because there's way less damage on Scourge now, thanks to the might generation getting a bit of a slap. So this is a build that I think you see a fair bit. Like, it's not quite as big damage as, say, the Carrion build that I think we saw Demolish playing yesterday for the Quagons, actually winning the taunt yesterday with that build, but it can actually still pack quite the punch there, you know, like Scepter Torch is big damage, and of course all the Corruption and Torment also really adds up, particularly if you can actually immobilize and lock down targets there because of that extra damage to people who aren't moving. Red team, though, going for a big push onto Misfire Engie, but the Engineer kites very well and does not die, which is a good start.
Yeah, not dying, usually a good goal here. We're going to see rotation from the core Guardian coming in. He's able to get on the node as well, but there's 4 players that he's not going to be able to stay for very long. Lich coming out as well from the red team Necromancer. And 2v4, you know, they did a nice job of stalling, but the rest of the team needs to come in here now. The Thief taking quite some time to get over here. He is going to be able to get here in time, or not in time, excuse me, after some time, but the Engineer already going to be in down state. Is there going to be a Signet? The Guardian actually forced to RF, so he's not going to be able to get that Signet off. And the first kill of the game actually going the way of red team. They're doing a nice job utilizing the fact that they had the outnumber there and finding those kills. The Guardian might be next, although they've kind of split up a little bit. It looks like their targets, they're having some trouble really staying on the same target. The Guardian, though, has taken a lot of damage, not a lot of cooldowns left, so they probably should be able to follow up on this. The longbow shots from the DH here from red team taking some damage onto him. Fury Ring trapping him in that corner, and I think finally, yeah, we are going to see him go down inside that longbow 5. Side nodes as well for red team. Wait a minute. Potential rally. There's a Dragon Hunter in downstate. We are going to see the Signet coming out. No, interrupted, and the rally going to be good here.
That was a very key kill. Denying that Signet was huge too. Making sure that they not only restabilize in the fight, they also win the fight. And they find the Guardian as well. So blue team getting off to a good start. However, Power has just been sitting on the other side of the map, just happily farming up a few points, now going for the Beast too. So blue team, it's now on them to actually get something out of those kills. D already looking for the decap, will actually find it, as that Ranger is taking a good chunk of time to kill the Beast. But actually the Guardian might be able to deny that just barely. The stealth, oh no! Oh, well, the stealth actually does prevent that, unfortunately, from being denied, but still. And wait, the Beast isn't dead. The Beast is still not dead.
Yeah, he's going to allow his pet to finish it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of time to get that kill. I'm not really sure what was going on. Took him a little bit longer than it really should have there, so he did have some trouble with that, but blue team going to be able to turn that into a double cap now on the map. They're going to actually go for Beast themselves, and red team, they really need to get out into this map. They had a decent fight here at far. They obviously lost a little bit more than maybe they wanted. Unfortunately, their Necro getting caught here is not ideal for them. And they probably have to wait for that Necro to respawn before they can really try to push hard. But, I'd like to see, this either the Thief really rotating into the mine over the DH when the blue team Thief does. He really wants to be in those team fights, I think, a little bit more than the Thief does. Either way, though, there's going to be some congestion now around the middle node with the Necromancer coming back in off respawn just now. So the red team are going to have to be careful. They will be outnumbered here for a decent amount of time. As the Ranger moves away as well. Oh no, he's gonna watch mine as the engine crosses. But here we go, team fight.
The red team need to push this fight with the Necromancer into the fight, but actually it's going to be too late. They did not play defensive. There is a Signet, but now they've really got to win very decisively. There is still revive power available for their enemy team here, and they have now lost theirs. This needs to be a big team fight. The core Necromancer is going to, they actually nearly have a kill onto the Revenant. The Shield 5 is good to block the Lich projectiles, and the blue team is losing health, but bear in mind, there is still that revival available. Red team, though, does a good job of stabilizing. The Engineer actually finds the decap here as well, but the Thief does the same thing, but that once again leaves mid outnumbered against the red team, and they're forced to back off.
Yeah, I don't love the Thief leaving just because they were already behind in this fight. Obviously, I think it was more just an issue with them taking this fight when they did, with the Necro still on respawn. And the DH as well, I mean, one of the big issues with Guardian is once you run out of cooldowns, you are a very easy target. DH especially, though, it's very, very easy to kill. They don't really have a lot of pressure when they run out of those trap cooldowns, especially on the build he's running. So I think they really needed to wait for that Necro. They really need to be able to look for kills quickly because of this DH and cleave them out very quickly. I think, honestly, what we should have seen was just a much slower approach. The Thief probably plussing into mine when that NG crossed. We do see now D doing that, the blue team Thief. There's downstates on both sides. The Ranger's going to go to downstate, but so is the Engineer. See if they're going to be able to find the kill here. The Thief here from red team trying to get some value. There is obviously going to be a pet res available, potentially. Poison stopping this res from coming. D going to be very low. Knockback for the downstated NG. Huge knockback, actually, but you do see Fog eccentric here as well. The Thief almost going downstate, but the pet res is going to be good. However, the res is going to be good on the Engineer as well. Another more rotation coming out from blue team. The DH, unfortunately, having burned through all of his cooldowns there and off of respawn, just being farmed right now. And yeah, I don't think they're really getting as much value from this DH as they could.
No, they aren't. They haven't really been able to take these fights. I think the really key moment that has put this game very favored towards the blue team now was just red taking that team fight a little bit too early. Like, if they had that core Necromancer there, then they can take that. But they'd already burned so much by the time they actually had even then the Thief leaving up that, leaving the team beleaguered alone and without a Dragon Hunter very shortly after. So, red can take these fights, right? They actually do find a kill on this road, getting the inter on the Signet. They should probably be able to clear that out. They can do it, but they've got to make sure they do it at the right time.
Oh, that was a nice stomp. Yeah, it's they've just been staggered is really what it comes down to. They do find a return kill onto this Revenant, though, and D going to be pretty pressured out as well, having a little bit of trouble surviving around this fight. But again, I mean, even if they find a kill here in mine, they're still getting pressured here onto the map, or onto this node, excuse me. D doing a nice job of, even on low health, on low cooldowns, pulling a player over there. They had the double cap as well for a decent amount of time. Because of that kill, obviously, they were a little outnumbered there, so they did have some trouble holding on to the middle node. But still, overall, I think blue team doing a little bit of a better job holding on to at least their home node. They've been able to push into that far node because of that one team fight, so it forces red team to try and pay a little bit more attention there, kind of boxes them into a corner. However, team fight coming out here. This could be a turning point for red team if they're able to find some kills, if they're able to do a good job here. We do see D leaving now. You know, he's going to think better of it and come back into the fight. A lot of pressure onto this DH here now from red team. He does have RF available, so if he does get focused the next moment, he will have a little bit of chance to stay alive. Shield 5 from the Guardian, going to try and keep him alive. D going to be very low here, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to find that target as he is stealthed off to the side. Poor Guardian here from blue team, pretty low as well. There's a chance for red team to find some kills here, but they really need to try and connect and find the same target. Kind of a little bit over the place. Blue team still trying to maintain pressure on that node as well. The core Guardian, though, getting chained down off to the side here by the Thief from red team. Both teams, though, having a lot of trouble finding kills as Necro goes down.
Necro goes down, and this core Guardian is so low right now. Okay, Fog looking for a kill onto the Scourge there as well. And actually, it is going to be the Rev. No support because the Guardian was locked out of that fight by the Thief. Gets his heal, but actually, that will result in his team dying a little bit. However, there's a Signet that's got to be interrupted. Oh, no! It's not. Good port there by Phoenix to get back onto that point there and get the revival and hopefully stabilize the fight for the blue team right now. The Thief does leave there. Looks for the kill on the hole. Actually, will find it. And Para will have control over this node, but that mine has been ticking the entire time. And the Rev goes down again on middle, this time with no revive. There is a blood res. Is that going to be? It actually might be. I think that should be. Oh, it's going to be close. The Necromancer takes a lot of pressure because of that, though. But is that going to be what it takes to actually get more kills here? Red, they are on a warpath right now. They're trying to find that kill. Misfire NG is going to go down. That should get stomped out there as well by the NG, by the Ranger on that. No, the Thief is able to get that as well. But actually, Power incredibly low. But actually, the Rev is down again over here. Then gets stomped. Red looking to try and find themselves a bit of momentum in this game. But they are close to respawns, so they've got to be careful.
Yep, absolutely. It's blue team spawn. Para as well getting trained down here by blue team, but a pretty easy res, I think. Yeah, they're going to be able to get that res, all 5 of their players on it. The problem is, there was a nice rotation from the Thief there, leaving that fight when it looked like maybe they were losing it, and you know, or even winning it because they had that down state until the Signet came through. You know, he got here a little bit faster than D did. They were able to get that pressure onto the NG, find that kill, and then obviously after the fight came over here, they were able to turn that into a kill on to the Revenant. But unfortunately for them, mine on the other side of the map has been in blue team's favor the whole time just because of the rotations, and now they're losing this fight on the opposite side of the map. Guardian going to be in downstate, the Cleave already confirming the kill there onto the core Necro. The DH almost certainly going to be taken out. He can't really do much, doesn't have cooldowns to get away, and you know, it's just, I think that they're not really forcing the issue a lot of times. They're kind of responding to where blue team are moving. They're always slower in terms of the rotations. The nodes they're holding get decapped very, very quickly, defocusing a little bit on decaps, maybe more than plussing sometimes. And it's working out for them as well. Blue team going to be able to get this beast as well, even though Para tried to steal it. But overall, blue team just with a healthy lead. They can probably win off of one node at this point, though I don't think they're going to need to. Double cap in potential as they go for middle node here. But overall, it really seems like blue team really just forcing the momentum and the movement on a lot of these rotations. Obviously, winning the fights is going to help them with that, but red team, I think, are kind of following blue team more than they are trying to force blue team to react to them.
Yeah, almost a similar story to the first game we saw, or the first match that we saw between the first two teams, because yeah, it was just one team controlling the momentum, controlling the tempo. It's not that red team can't win, it's just that they aren't really making the moves they need to actually set themselves up to win right now. Good revive does come through there onto Fog. If red team can win, they maybe have enough time to actually come back unless they are neutralizing that, but Misfire NG is already doing the same thing over there, and this fight is looking a little bit scary as we almost have the Guardian for red going down here. Yes, that's going to be, they need to revive that or run away. They've got to choose what they want to do. I think it's going to be run away here. They don't have enough HP left there, and Fog is going to die to Condi off to the side there as well. That's not going to happen there. 4v1 now on mid, and that's probably going to be the final cleanup there, the final obliteration. A good team fight there from the blue team, running the fairly safe composition there with the Scourge, the Guardian, and the Rev. It gets the job done, it finds the kills, and it's definitely helping them win this game.
I want to see this DH swap to something else. I don't think it's going to be able to match the pressure in these team fights that we're seeing from the blue team Revenant. The damage, and on top of that, I really want to see them doing a better job of focusing targets. If you notice in these team fights, basically every single one, you know, one of the two Guardians is dying first. They're focusing down this DH so much, even though we did see a Signet come out for him this last fight. He has gone down probably first in basically every team fight we've seen. They're locking this DH down very effectively. They're consistently getting him into downstate. Otherwise, it might sometimes be the core Guardian that they turn the focus onto. Sometimes we've seen them go to the Necro, but in general, it seems like blue team doing a very good job of staying on the same target and consistently focusing down the targets they know they can kill. Whereas blue team, it doesn't really look like that's an issue for them. It doesn't really look like red team is focusing out one player consistently, finding these easy targets in these team fights to lock down and kill. And to be honest, there's not as good of a target here. I think the best target for red team to really look at would probably be the Core Guardian, and they just don't have the damage to do it because this DH just isn't performing the same way that the Revenant is. So I'd like to see a swap coming out. I don't know if that's an option for them. If they're not going to swap, but they are going to keep this same comp, then they really need to do a better job of finding a single target in these team fights and really following up on it together as a 4 or 5 man stack, whatever. But that's going to be game 1 going the way of blue team, Edgy and Sad, as we move on to Temple.
Yeah, clearly a strong team here as well, putting on a good performance there as well. Just, I like, I do like to see that sort of thing. It was a fairly conservative play style from Edge and Sad. They didn't really go for any crazy overextensions, didn't greed too much. They focused on doing what they do best, winning the team fights and then using the Thief to be annoying as hell, right? And run around in circles and get some decaps, find some quick kills on stuff, and just hold on to stuff there with the Protection Holosmith. It was a good game. It was a good, solid game of Guild Wars 2 from Edgy and Sad.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, I think, wait a minute. A little bit of spice here. Dion Core Thief might be going for Condi. Oh, no, he swapped over to Daredevil. There we go. So far, we do see the DH here for red team still. So he obviously hasn't swapped. There's 2 players missing, though, so I don't know if they're swapping. It was the Core Guardian. However, it looks like he actually, has swapped here. Not sure if he's... gone on Warrior. This is going to be a support Warrior, maybe. No. Fog Eccentric has gone from DH to support Guardian. So So they are actually taking the DH out of this comp, which I do like. So it is going to be Spellbreaker here, side node from the Warrior. Not sure what we're going to see for the last class of this team. Should be Ranger. I don't know if Para plays anything besides Ranger, but we're going to see. He's on a different character. It's going to be a Necro. So a Scourge.
Ooh. This is maybe not the map for that. I hate to say it. This is obviously a very big map with 5 objectives. Kind of keeping tabs on all of these might be a little bit on the tricky side for the support Guardian, but we'll have to see how it works. Of course, the team fight now is going to be very robust for red with the double Necro.
Holosmith leaving here from blue team. So he's seen these swaps the red team is making, and he may be swapping off of... he's gone to Ranger Master. So he's going to kind of flex on Para here a little bit, I think, if he's playing Ranger. That is a little bit of a flex.
Ranger
you swap
Master.
off Ranger, I go Ranger. Interesting.
Yeah, I go for the Ranger there as well. I was almost expecting to see a Minion Mancer there, potentially, so you can kind of match that double Necro presence in the team fight if it does come to that. But, well, we'll have to see how this one goes. I mean, I think blue will probably not necessarily want to directly engage at this point, with that Scourge Guardian and a core Necromancer. That's definitely pretty scary to go into a 3-through. That the Revenant, right, is going to have a pretty tough time getting bullied by the double Necromancer a fair bit. So I think we might see them try and give, unfortunately, poor old Warrior a very bad time as well. Of course, the Warrior can be very vulnerable indeed to getting a +1, say, from the Thief. So I think we might be seeing the Ranger push the Warrior and then the Thief just get in there and finish the job when at all possible. Yeah, and we actually even see Shadow Portal here from D. So I think we're going to be seeing some very high-speed rotations from the Thief to try and punish the vulnerability of the duelist of the red team.
Yeah, it is interesting to me that we don't see a Minion Mancer here from the Scourge if they're maybe going to try and avoid team fighting completely. But if they also aren't really going to try and go for like 3-node pressure at the same time, one side noder being that Ranger is certainly fine. And, having 2 side noders in the comp has been a weakness we've seen before, so it's not exactly a bad option. It just means that they do need to be really careful about when they go for team fights, if they go for team fights. We're going to see the Stealth Cross, though. Red team grouped up pretty hard around middle node. Blue team looking like they might be trying to go into this Spellbreaker. See if it works. We're going to see the Guardian actually making some movement over towards the middle node, potentially just to stall, maybe just to try and slow down some of these players as they respond to this cross. The Warrior, though, so far is going to be able to sustain himself on the node. The Thief doing a nice job coming in here as well. There's the rest of red team rotating in. Rampage coming out now from the Spellbreaker. He's held the node down very well so far, and the double cap confirmed here for red team because of that across there from blue team. The Thief taking a lot of pressure, but he is going to be able to get out, no problem. D trying to chase him out, see if he's going to be able to catch up to him and find that kill onto the red team Thief as he moves over towards Altar. The Ranger, though, after capping up Altar, is going to make his way in a middle node. So all 3 nodes going to be contested here. So far, though, really what's going to be important here is the team fight at Temple, assuming that it gets finished. Blue team's starting to look like maybe they're going to rotate away. I'm not sure really if they know what they want to do here, if they want to continue to fight into this. But unfortunately for them, they've kind of fallen into this trap that we were talking about where they're going for a team fight here, and they probably shouldn't be, although they do have quite a bit of pressure onto this core Necro.
They do, has the Flesh Worm, might be able to get away there. Ooh, but Teleport's back onto the node. That's maybe not the safest place to be. The Peel is good there, the Fear is good. There's some Shroud left over there. Does make it in there, but that Guardian, I think, is probably going to have to use the Signet here very, very shortly. There is stability available in a few moments. That could be good. There's no Thief, so it should actually be fairly easy to get off there, but there you go. There's the down state. Here comes the Signet. Stability is up. It should land. It does. Good Signet, but red team, they've got to get back in on this fight. And yeah, the Warrior being here, probably not the best. The Warrior has no damage, Roy. He is playing Hammer. That I don't know if that's a misclick or if that's intentional. The Thief now from D is now moving across the board here as well as the Scourge. I mean, kind of weird rotations for me. Like, why was the Scourge on mid 1v1ing? Like, well, why is the Warrior in the team fight? I don't know. These are all questions that we don't have the answer to. The red team has them, but we don't. But still, red actually still holding on here and getting themselves quite a sizable lead by a superior map presence.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't watching it just because I was focused on this team fight. It looks like the red team Thief did a really good job of getting over to Altar. He got the cap. D either was, just too out of cooldowns to get the kill, to 1v1 him. I think maybe what he also did was go for that plus on the middle node. We saw blue team, eventually get it. This is where the crack comes. Red team, they stayed here for so long, burning through all their resources where they really weren't able to turn it around. Oh, Rez coming out, yeah. Parasitic tendency, looking almost like he's going to be able to get it. No. Really good CC, really good damage, and he's going to lose his life as well. And so, red team, they're ahead by almost, a decent amount of points, right? About 60, 70 points here over blue team. But because of the fact that they only held on for that long because they were feeding kills into that node, they ended up losing that team fight, right? They didn't get a single kill to turn around on a blue team. They now have a very bad position for this map overall. The double cap confirmed here for blue team. It's going to be very easy for this blue team to hold on to it. And we also see Ranger Master going all the way across the other map. Triple cap potential here for blue team. So, a decent effort at Temple for red team to hold on to it, but they're just not going to be able to do anything now that they've crashed so hard from that team fight. And they really need to try regroup and break their way back into the map here, I think, and figure out exactly how they want to play with this comp that they've swapped to.
They're doing a good job of it, actually. The Warrior already getting that node back. The Necromancer grabs mid. I really want to see them push this team fight with a double Necro, though. We have this big fight brewing here. I like that Red is stalling it and pushing for map control as well, but now they're going to have to rotate. The Thief and Necromancer, I think, about to leave here from the blue team, although actually the Scourge is hanging around. And Red, they've got themselves into a pretty good spot here, actually. Both Necros are positioned close where they could join up for a big team fight, and Blue almost getting roadblocked while trying to cross the map. However, having said that, the Thief here of Red is about to get picked off by D. The stealth is good. Oh, is the buff going to come through there? I don't think it should. No, it does not. It gets interrupted there. And actually, pretty good here from Red. I think they're in a good spot right now. They need to watch for the decap here. And now the Thief plussing mid is scary. That needs to be responded to here. Otherwise, Tiny Lepra will have a lot of difficulty in surviving. What is Red going to do? Unfortunately, I don't think they are doing anything. I mean, the Scourge is maybe trying to get over here. Yep, the Scourge is coming. I like that a lot, actually, because that Scourge should stabilize this. Oh, but it might be a little bit too late. The Worm ports the Necromancer out there. Does have Shroud. We need to see some serious peel and serious heals. There's the barrier. I don't know, 3,000 health left over. There needs to be a big revive. There's probably going to be a steal up here as well. There actually isn't steal right now for the Thief, so if there is a Signet right now, it will not be available to be interrupted, but it will be very, very shortly. Lepra holding on there. The Scourge peel is good. The barrier is nice. Is it going to be good enough, though? It's really close. It's not good enough. There is going to be a Signet coming out here, but there's the interrupt there directly. However, the Blood Res is still an option for the red team, and actually with stability, I think they're going to get that. They do, and I think now blue team has to leave.
Yeah, the Revenant going to be very, very pressured out here in low. And actually get the downstate. There should be a Signet available here from Teapot Is My Idol. Shouldn't be too hard of a chance to get it. Yeah, there's no CC on top. And wait a minute. What? He doesn't get the Signet somehow. I'm not sure if he just misclicked or whatever, but Stomp coming out now from the Guardian, and you're going to try to interrupt it, but it's not going to happen. The Revenant going to be killed, and red team hold on very well here. And a couple things to note while that team fight was going on, which red team has now won handily. Really good rotation from the Warrior. He was able to cap Temple, which we've just seen decap now by D, looking like he's going to go for the full cap, realizing his team has lost that mid-fight. But I really like this movement from the Warrior to force this 1v1 happening on the enemy team's node. He actually ends up getting this decap, and part of the reason I think for that is because he's running Hammer. The plus comes out here from this Revenant off respawn now, and he is going to probably be taken out because there's no matched rotation from Red Team. But he does do a decent job of moving out here. If the Thief realizes this, or one of the players here from Red Team, they might be able to save him, but they're all going towards Stillness. But either way, I also would have liked to have seen the Thief maybe consider leaving Stillness. He was 1v1 against the Scourge there from Blue Team on Stillness for a really long time, and obviously keeping that Scourge out of the team fight was certainly a good boon, I think, to help Red Team win that team fight on mid. But I think if the Thief had plus the Ranger earlier on to Ultra, they would have been able to get that kill and turn that into a triple cap, then potentially move into middle node and really kind of swing the map 100% their way. That being said, did a good job of keeping him out of the fight. Map state completely neutral now as bottom buff is going to spawn. We'll have to see where these teams decide to go. But so far, Red Team, honestly, rotating a little bit smarter than Blue on Temple, I think.
Yeah, playing it a little bit better. And this is, I almost expected this, right? Because Blue's in a bit of a weird spot where they are no longer the team that has the stronger team fight comp. They're the team that needs to actually out-rotate or move around, and I think adapting to that is definitely causing them a few issues. I've got to say, I actually really did not like that rotation to far from the Warrior. He was able to get the neutralization, but him dying kind of snowballed the entire map against them. He didn't really get over there in time, and the Thief got the decap during all of this. But he is still doing a good job there with that Vans build, though.
That's straight up his team's fault. No one rotated into him. He was there for a long time, and he also got the decap into the Ranger. I think he was doing a really good job, and his entire team ran past him while he was getting 1v2'd. They went to Stillness instead of trying to help him.
Yeah, they hate him.
I honestly think that's more on his team than him.
Ooh, and actually, a big unfortunate thing, the Thief actually gets caught by the Rev and the Scourge on bottom buff. Oh, there's no response to that, unfortunately. That is going to be a free Tranquility for Blue. That will reset every node on the map. Directly over to Blue. There it is. Of course, we already do have Red Team. They are in position to maybe answer this there. We have the decap immediately on the Temple. Middle will probably remain under the control of Blue until a big push from Red comes out. The Warrior is surviving quite nicely in the 1v2. Well, as I say that, he's about to die, I think. He'll skill up in a few moments there, but yeah, it's going to die on node, I think, and just try and hold on for as long as possible. Ooh, this is a bit of a slow ascension back into this game by Blue, I think. Red needs to be careful not to squander their lead.
This is where, when you have two Necros, it really hurts you, because if you're not able to enable your side node, I think this Warrior is doing a very good job so far from what I've seen from him, and his team just isn't enabling him. The Thief didn't plus him. He hasn't really plussed him at all, and he died on bottom buff instead of being in a position to plus him when he needed him to. I mean, if the Thief had plussed this Warrior even once, I think that would have turned into a kill in a fully owned node, but instead we see the Thief dying elsewhere. They're not able to hold control of their own node now, as D is going to be able to free it up to go for the Temple kill. We have kills in Rhodes here. Again, the Thief dying in Rhodes, not really plussing anybody, not really getting much value. And I really would love to see Red Team trying to play around their Warrior. That being said, Red Team still maintaining a very slight lead. It is going to turn the way of Blue Team just because of how long Red Team have had the lead here and how slow Blue Team have gotten points back. But finally, we are going to see them with better map control. We are going to see them moving ahead of Red Team finally. 5 minutes left or so in the game as the double cap comes out here for Blue Team again. That's going to be the lead going their way. But either way, yeah, I just want to see a little bit more play around this Warrior, because he's, I think, kind of the strongest part of this team so far.
Yeah, and he resecures that node there, which is nice. The Scourge helping him out there. The Guardian and the Scourge of Blue kind of pushing this. I'm actually not sure if they can really do too much here. The Warrior might be able to out-sustain this 1v2 for a very long time, actually. This could be a really high-value 1v2. Basically, both of the key team fight classes from Blue are going to get locked by the Warrior. Having said that, the Warrior actually dies. Wait. Well, never mind.
He's almost dead. He is going to be able to get his heal off, maybe. Maybe hold on for a couple more seconds, but I mean, here's the thing. The Warrior, you know, on one hand, it kind of looks cool. Oh, he's holding this 1v2. He's not dying. You know, he's sustaining it. But at the same time, he's not really getting value out of here if he dies. Although, obviously, the Guardian leaving is kind of questionable. And he was able to hold it long enough for Red Team to get value elsewhere on the map. We see they got a kill on this Ranger, so it is some value. But at the same time, it's just not really getting them anything because they've fallen behind now. They don't have nodes. They don't have pressure on middle node, which is obviously still capped for Blue Team. Again, D's going to be able to cap Temple up for free. And I think this is an issue where, you know, the Warrior, again, it's kind of cool. Oh, he's surviving 1v2 for a little bit, but he's not doing anything on that node. He's not gaining any real value from being there. in that 1v2. Eventually, he has to leave or die, which we saw happen. And now the Ranger off respawn is actually plussing him again. This should eventually be a cap here for blue team.
Indeed, it should. I mean, there is a certain level of good stuff here because the Scourge is being delayed from entering the team fight for a long time, and now he'll be able to rotate away, being replaced by the Ranger. But honestly, the team fight is not really going very well for Red either. The Scourge Red about to die here in blue, about to get to 400 points on the board with a double cap there as well. Lepra is now moving over here as well to try and help this fight out a little bit. But Red team's time is definitely running out. Ooh, D actually does. That is a big kill. Huge kill. Gets spiked by a bunch of Condis. And the Blue Guardian actually dropped down. So this is not going to be signatable in any way. Meanwhile, the Red Thief finds the neutralization on the gold too, on the gate as well. However, the Thief will not be able to get rid of the Ranger because the Ranger is AFKing on the altar, seeing the points as a lifeline. But I think we are going to have to see Blue look to maintain control of at least 2 of these because they will still lose if Red can get a double cap.
Yep, it has to happen now, though, and unfortunately for them, blue team are the ones with the double cap. Stillness still being fought over. This Resgot X, the Scourge here from blue team, has pretty much bet on Stillness, I think, this entire game. He has barely ever had the opportunity to leave it, which is obviously interesting because we haven't, again, I think that was one of the big reasons we saw that team fight on mid go the way of red team, but they're not taking advantage of that fact at all. Again, they're not really, they have players in really good positions, both from their team and the blue team, that they could use as an advantage, and they're really not taking advantage of it. They're about 50 points behind now. They do get the double cap finally. I mean, if the map state stays this way for the rest of the game, it's going to be very, very close. It probably will come down to a kill or two, but the blue team, the red team Guardian, already in a really bad position. He's going to get taken out here in Rhodes. There's no one in the vicinity to support him. His Necro just runs away. And, it's going to be very difficult for them to hold on to these nodes. Blue team definitely can win with one node.
The Scourge.
Though.
The Scourge actually is our answer right now. The Rev is dropping down. I think, the Rev should be able to make it, I think. Just barely. Actually, that fear mark was big, but no, it's not going to be. It's not going to be enough, actually. That was a very nice play. If that would have worked, that would have been epic. But sadly, it did not. That would have been pretty close, I think. Oh, and the core Necromancer went for that push into the Ranger, not able to find that kill. Ends up going down and feeding there as well, unfortunately. And that's going to be a double cap now on mid. Necromancer gets that. Res God X holding on there. Ranger Master, also the master of the altar node, I think. And there it is, a very close game, though. Just under 2 minutes left on the clock. 5:01 to 4:47. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will conclude round number 1, 2-2-0s, although definitely that last game very close there. From the loser bracket all-stars into Edgy and Sad. But now we're going to have the 2 teams that have won so far actually face off against each other.
Oh, yes.
We do need to swap the maps, though, so it's going to be Kylo Coliseum Legacy.
I am on the case. I am on the case. Kylo, you say Kylo Coliseum Legacy, right?
Kylo Coliseum Legacy, indeed.
Got it. Right, resetting it right now, and let's get going. It is now going to be the Seamen Demons going up against Edgy and Sad. So prepare for that, my friends, because both these teams, as Roy said, are already winners, okay, in their own right. Let's see who will be the winner of the winners just about now. Here we go. Let's leap into that game immediately. The map is resetting. The team names are in place. And, well, I'm not really sure what to actually make of this game. I think that we are going to have another pretty close game, I think, between these 2 teams. And I think quite similar styles, too. I think we're going to see, this big team fight, the Rev, the Necro, the support guard. It could be a bloodbath, Roy. This could be a massacre.
Yeah, and, it is interesting to point out here that because, obviously, of the nature of the bracket, we have round robin here. There isn't an actual finals for this bracket. But this match actually could be almost the decider for who wins the entire bracket, because if these are the 2 strongest teams in the bracket, they've already won one. 1 second. Then whoever wins this game, assuming that both Seaman Demons and Edgy and Sad are going to be able to win the next games that they play after this, whoever wins this match essentially is first place, just straight up because of that. So this honestly almost is like the finals, assuming that, these are the 2 strongest teams. They've both won so far, so we could imagine they are. Of course, Seamen Demons have to fight loser bracket all-stars, and Edgy and Sad have to fight the dream team. And, maybe there could be some upsets there, but I think this does probably. I think this will end up sort of being the qualifier. So this is a very important match, I think, to look at. So we're gonna have to see, both these teams really try their hardest to win here.
Bit of a rename here as well from Zark, I believe. It is the Seamen Connoisseur now.
Oh, you love to see it. Very good, very good.
You do need to have the
and I
full
didn't even have
roster.
to buy him a name change contract.
Yeah, like we did. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was fun, wasn't it? That was some good content there as well. But yeah, I mean, that's extra exciting, guys. You get to see, I like that. We're having a bit of a non-linear tournament here, right? We're gonna, instead of having the finals all the way at the end, we're going to have the finals in the middle of the entire tournament. Of course, there still could potentially be another loss for either of these teams. There are more games after this that could then change the way the rankings will end up going, rather the standings will end up towards the end. But definitely a very important match. Like, both teams absolutely want to win it. It's a bit like the Swiss tournament. This has been ATs. You got to win those games. Otherwise, you're going to get booted out. You don't make it through to the elimination phase. Well, there isn't an elimination phase. It's just the winning phase here.
Yeah. And obviously, whoever does win will be pushed up to the invitational bracket 2 weeks from now. Technically, a week and 6 days, since they'll be playing on the Saturday. But if they do make it through that first set, they will be going to the global finals there on the Sunday. 2 teams from each region will be moving forward. So we've got our 4 NA teams after we find out which one of these teams are moving up to join the other 3 NA invitational teams. And we got 6 EU teams, I believe, there on the invitational side of things. Might be one more than that. I have to go back and check because we've had a couple of changes there with Ultranum dropping out and the Worms joining, and then potentially another team coming through. It's all fun stuff there. But that will certainly be some exciting stuff. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I actually think the invitational bracket this time around is a lot stronger than we saw from the first HCL. I do think the open bracket may be a little bit less eventful this time around, certainly for NA. We've obviously only got these 4 teams that we're doing this round robin with. And, we do have, we did have less teams on the EU side of things than the first time, although there's still some very, very good competitive matches yesterday. But certainly I think the invitational bracket, we've got both 55 and Worms. We've got Team USA without the 55 players they had the first time around. We've got the other 2 NA teams that I think are also very, very strong. It's kind of a toss-up there, I think, between who will be moving forward to the global matches there with USA, assuming that USA wins. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to see that in 2 weeks' time. It's going to be some good stuff.
Oh, it really is. It's always good to see that we will actually have a proper region clash this time around. Although, I guess it's not completely pure, of course, because Dra is going to be playing with Team USA.
True.
He truly is a mercenary, Roy, right? He will, look, he plays for anyone. He gets in there and he plays those games. He's got no mercy, right? He'll go for anyone. He'll take anyone out there. As well. But yeah, there are going to be some incredible games there as well. You're absolutely right. That the Invitational is going to be complete fire. Like, every game is going to be remarkable, I believe. And well, while we're waiting, we're missing 1 player from Edgy and Sad. Oh, now it's 2. Oh, no, now we have there we go. Another player gets back into the mix there as well. Okay, yeah, the player is now going to be joining very shortly. It is, well, we're talking about, guys, we have an amazing prize pool for this event. Okay, thanks to Ash Mike donating $2,000. We actually have a $2,235 prize pool currently for the tournament. If you want to actually get involved and power this tournament a little bit further, then do !HCL in the chat to get over to that Matcherino. When you go to the Matcherino, guys, you can actually do some free money stuff. Basically, there are basically little things you can click on the right-hand side. You can visit a link, like a YouTube video, retweet a tweet, all that sort of thing. And that will just add a few cents, like 10, 15 cents to the prize pool. If everyone does all of the sponsor quests on Matcherino, it will literally add over $1,000. Just saying, guys, okay? So if they, it's insignificant, it means nothing. That isn't true. But you know what else isn't insignificant? This game starting right now. Let's go.
True. Here it is, Kylo. And like I said, I think this is going to be probably one of the more important matches to look at throughout this round robin. We've got the 2 teams who have won so far, so whichever team loses here is going to already be at a deficit behind the other team. And they're really going to have to hope that whoever wins here then loses to the team they haven't fought so far. But we'll have to see what happens. It is going to be the Seamen Demons there on the red side, just as before, and of course Edgy and Sad sticking with the blue team. And no comp swaps from the Temple game we just saw them play. So I guess they think that the Scourge with the Ranger is going to be a little bit better than the Brawlhalla they were running before. Either way, though, slightly slower cap on their home node. We are going to see Red Team now pushing into the Clock Tower. Blue Team in a little bit more of a defensive position. A lot of pressure already on the Thief, though, from Red. And he's overextended away from the rest of his team. He's going to be brought to downstate. We do see the Guardian looking for potentially res. He does get that Signet. Nice Signet, actually, all the way from the top of the Clock Tower. However, a lot of pressure still on him from the Ranger off to the side. He's going to go down again. His team is just not there to peel for him. He's very far away. The Herald knock is going to get him out of that res there from the Core Guardian. The Core Guardian now out of position himself because of that attempted res, and he's going to maybe go down before he can get to the RF. He just barely manages to do it. He has no cooldowns outside of it. He's going to be in a very easy target for Blue Team, barreling their way through with this Clock Tower fight off of that kill onto the Thief. He's going to go into downstate. I think Red Team have to just cut their losses and leave at this point. Blue Team with a very decisive start to this fight. Another kill onto
the Reaper gets cleaned as well. That's a big cleanup on that Reaper. It really is. And Thief just overextending and just causing this horrible snowball effect. Although D just gets deleted actually by the Seaman Slurper.
What is D doing? He got slurped up by that Revenant, and he's going to be taken out. This will slow Blue Team down a little bit, but I mean, I think it's okay because he gets cleaved out very fast. He's on the node. They have to cleave him out. He's going to be a few seconds behind the Reaper respawn, about 10 seconds or so, but he obviously can get into the map a little bit faster than the Reaper. The double cap held down for Blue Team, and they don't really need the Thief for this team fight. The problem is that the Warrior, again, and shout out to the Warrior rotation so far, I think is that he did a good job pulling some pressure over to the Mansion, utilizing the fact that they did have that kill on that Thief. And it made it a little bit easier, I think, for Red Team now to get into this Clock Tower fight. That being said, the Slurper and a little bit of pressure is going to burn his Glint Heal. He's going to be able to kite for now, but they do need to make sure they can, keep him alive. Jadewind's turned around. Let's see if they're going to be able to follow up on any kills. A little bit of pressure onto the Revenant now from the Blue Team of side. He's going to be very, very low. They actually should be able to get him. Blocks and heals coming out from his Guardian, but no, he's going to go to downstate. Teapot is my idol looking for a Signet, but he's not really in a great position to... Oh, precasted. But it gets actually pulled away, I think, by his Necro.
Yeah, the Scourge.
Oh, miscommunication. You hate to see it, and that will be almost certainly a kill confirmed. It is. Red Team find that kill. D is going to leave, though. He's going to leave this. He thinks the fight is lost. He's going to go for the decap onto Windmill. Decap there on Clock Tower. So Red Team take a fight, but I want to point this out. Blue Team do a really good job of kind of sacking the lost fight. They lose one player. They leave. No one else dies. D gets a decap. This is very good discipline from Blue Team after a lost fight.
Yeah, that's nice. They're able to cut their losses very much so and slow down the bleeding of that game and not allow their opponents to get an advantage. D still contesting into middle there as well. We'll have to give it up eventually, but Res God X is already here dropping the reach with the Guardian. They should be able to continue contesting that the entire time. Warrior from Red recapturing the windmill over there before pushing back in the mid. And look, here we go. It is 5v5 time, but the Seaman Supplier is already in the downside. I don't think they can revive that either, actually. Both teams trading blows. Although, actually, now they have the smoke field down. They should be able to get that, I think, with the symbol going through in one second. Oh, that stuff! I'm knocking two players off the edge, though. Denying that revive. That was really nice, actually. But is it going to be if they actually get the revive? There is anywhere there, dude. Seaman Connoisseur. He goes big for the Seaman Supply. He is a connoisseur. He will not let the Supplier go down and go dead.
He needs his Seaman Supply, and very, very nice knocks actually from both teams. Red Team had a good knock there earlier on. That fight onto the Scourge from Blue Team, allowing them to, alleviate some of that pressure. A little bit of pressure now put onto the Revenant here from Blue Team. Barrier keeping him alive for now with his block. He's going to be able to get to his Glint Heal. They turn the pressure now onto the Reaper, who is going to go to downstate. Is there going to be a Signet? Supplier has Signet available, but no, he's not going to get feared. So nice Signet onto the Reaper. A lot of pressure, though, and his heal's just not enough to keep him alive. Big fear, though, coming out on all three players there for the Blue Team, but I think the follow-up damage is going to be good. So Red Team going to be forced to leave this. Blue Team find another win onto the Clock Tower, and I think they're going to be able to follow up on it a little bit better as well. Seaman Connoisseur are going to be pushed into this corner. The Thief as well from Red Team going to be a little bit low here as Blue Team, they don't let up at all. They get the cap onto the Clock Tower, they find that kill, and they're already in a position here onto this Mansion node to keep pressuring Seaman out. We're trying to pull some of the pressure away. And it looks like they're actually just going to kind of ignore Windmill for now. They're not really going to do too much to it, although D now is starting to make his way over there. They're going to keep that fight onto Mansion, where Red Team are. And I think this is kind of good rotations from both teams, but the problem for Red Team is that they're on the opposite side of where their Necro is going to respawn. The Revenant as well has made his way over here, and now they're very heavily outnumbered. Blue Team have a much better map position because of this. The decap as well from D is going to be good. And I think right now, yeah, definitely Edgy and Sad just pulling away with this game.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and it just does come down to those team fights, and Red Team just not quite able to break through here. Like, the Reaper, I think the Reaper is the key thing here, like, into the Scourge. Like, the Scourge it is just that slightly safer option. Keeps the fight stable. Very annoying. The boon crushing the blinds, the slow, right, the barrier. It's very nice. Oh, that's a nice res. That's a big transfuse. Will it be denied? I don't think it will. Yeah, the Trail of Anguish's ability should be good there, I think. There's a lot of damage there. Maybe a knockback here. Oh, the cleave is actually big. That's very... Ooh, wow. Good counter cleave there, actually, by the Seaman there. Oh, I like that.
It has support damage.
I think that was intentional. I think that may well have been intentional. He went for a dodge in there to gain extra height, just to get the respawn timer off there quickly, and depressing also there. And the Ranger Master falls on the other side of that to Seamen God and Seamen Connoisseur. Guardian and the Rev now coming to stabilize that. But actually... just as we say that the team fight is good for blue, the red team, they fire back and they take one of their own off the back of a greedy revive.
Yeah, that was less about them winning a team fight and more about just, I think, the Scourge going for a res that he shouldn't have. Maybe D also getting caught out of position again there and throwing that sort of away. But, you know, it doesn't cost blue team too much. They've been able to hold on to Mansion this entire time that red team has been putting pressure on it. It is a little bit unfortunate though that, you know, that D did die, just because it means that while red team is pushing onto Mansion, he's not able to then turn that around and go to windmill, which again is a really good strategy there by the red team, putting that pressure onto Mansion as well as keeping that thief out so they can confirm that hold onto windmill. But now it is going to go into a true team fight. We'll see if they're going to be able to hold on to this. The thief, unfortunately, though, already being brought down. Big knockback as well. Is going to stop some pressure. Signet does come through, though. So the supplier going to be able to hold on to his thief. Let's see if he's going to be able to just disengage from this. The decap will come out, though, because of that pressure onto the thief. And so far, again, the Scourge controlling this node very, very well. The Reaper under a lot of pressure. There's no Signet available as it was already used onto the thief. He's just going to be forced to pour it out. D, though, on top of him, looking for the kill. Does have a little bit of Shroud. Does have his Lich available as well. There's his Guardian on top of him. He only has 500 health, though, and he's going to be brought down by the shots. Res not going to be good as the Fear's going to come out on top of that. The Slurper, though, looking for the res, and they are going to be able to get them together. However, a lot of pressure onto both of these players. The Scourge coming down there. All the while, the red team have turned this into a decap at Mansion. Really what I think they should be trying to do is just grouping up there, but D going to answer with a decap of his own onto Windmill. Really good rotation there from D.
Yeah, the Thief doing what Thief does best. Make sure that even things that aren't going super well for you elsewhere on the map, you can make sure that they aren't going well for the enemy team as well. And just that mid node still being locked down by the Scourge. Red team need to find a way to break through. What do they want to go for? Do they want to kill the Guardian, the Scourge, the Rev? They've got to pick something, and they need to go for it now because they are slowly but surely trickling behind in points.
Yeah, we are going to see a plus coming out here from the Revenant onto the Ranger. This should be a kill, almost certainly. Yeah, it's going to be a kill. Really good plus there from the Revenant, as long as it doesn't cost them around mid. But unfortunately, they're pushing in the wrong direction. If they're going to have a plus go out onto their home node, they have to be able to stay on that side of the clock tower there. But they've actually found themselves ending up on the opposite side of the clock tower towards Windmill. They do get their hard res on to the Reaper, and they're now going to be able to regroup with their Revenant onto the middle node, but they are down cooldown, so they have to be really careful about this. Already a lot of pressure onto the Revenant. Lich going to be coming out now to try to peel for his Revenant teammate, and actually a really good burst onto the blue team Revenant. He needs to be a little bit careful. He's kind of been split up from his team. They're all over the place here on this clock tower, but the appeals and the barrier are going to be coming through now from the Scourge. Breach going to be dropped there as well, and the Reaper in a lot of trouble. Needs to make sure he can regroup with the rest of his team as they've started to split up a little bit too much. Still, a good winning map state at the moment for the red team. And wait, did the Ranger self-res? How did he get back up?
It may have been it may well have been that, actually. I don't know how that happened exactly.
It might have been the respawn. He might have gotten cleaved out.
Yeah, it could be a respawn and coming back.
Ran back from respawn.
Oh, and the Warrior actually wins again immediately. Massive axe damage. Well, I think it may well have been a respawn with the 100 blades. Oh, dude. You know what, Roy? I love... Do you like a 7-second pulsing blind field?
What I would like more is actually if it was 20 seconds. I think that would be a little bit stronger. But that being said, yeah, it's a great skill. Lovely, lovely skill. Really, really annoying to see. That being and D doing a nice job getting that res out. He is going to be able to find the res under the Ranger. The plus going to be here from the red team Thief. Blue team Revenant actually going to be able to find his way in there. That being said, red team should have the map state here as long as the Warrior can wriggle himself out of here.
Yeah, and mid too, actually.
Is coming in. Yeah, we do see the Guardian coming in. This is really good rotation from the Guardian. He's going to be able to hopefully help get his team out. They need to just leave, though.
They've got to be careful, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got to be so careful.
They don't overextend here. That being said, as long as they can sustain here, we are going to see the other two players from the red team able to make their way over here after winning the map. This is a good rotation here from red team, again, forcing blue team to have to fight their way out of Mansion while the other two nodes in their control. But here, D, again, making a good rotation to pull some pressure away from that side of things. He actually almost gets the decal. Oh, that would have been so bad from red team. if he'd been able to do it. But he's going to make his way over to Windmill, cause the Herald to follow him. This is really good that the Herald is here and not the Thief, because it takes the Herald out of the team fight, although the Thief is also here for some reason from Red Team. So this should be a winning team fight engage, I'd say, from Blue Team on a clock tower so far.
Yeah, the Ranger isn't here, though, and the Warrior for Red is. So it is actually 5v4 in favor of Red. So despite the somewhat suboptimal engage, I think Red Team should actually be able to run away with this fight as long as things don't go too awry for them. Seaman Supply in a lot of trouble, though, needs to heal up there as much as he can. Has no real cooldowns, doesn't really want to put renewed focus just yet, I don't think. Can't do anything for a little while there. Is now going to move back in there, but actually... Red Team kind of lose a 4v5 a little bit there. Not ideal, but let's see if they can get back into it now after the Guardian gets in. And they absolutely can. They immediately destroy Fakes, and they're going to get Red Squad X, and they're going to get there up there as well. And I love
wow, that Reaper cleave coming through big there. I think in previous fights, we haven't really seen that Reaper able to pop off as much as maybe he would have liked, but there he certainly did. And this is certainly coming at a good time as well. They're going to potentially be able to push onto Mansion and a decap. D will actually be tracked down by the Red Team Thief as well. This is really important by this Red Team Thief to not give up this decap. They're both in stealth, so he needs to be careful he doesn't let the decap go there. He's going to be able to get out of stealth. Nicely done, but he has to hold on to this node. However, Clock Tower going to come through. Mansion as well gets decapped. Red Team in a very good position so far. Honestly, I think this Thief could look to leave as long as he, if he thinks that he's in danger of dying. But so far, he's doing a good job of holding on to this 1v1. Fortunately, though, he does eventually give the node up. So D's going to continue to probably try and troll. And it's really going to come down now to Blue Team can find a win here over the Mansion, which coming out here from the Red Team Necromancer. Shield 5 coming out to block a lot of those projectiles. Big Jage Wind mostly going to be negated there by the Aegis from the Guardian.
Oh, that Reaper damage. It connects a bit on the Guardian, actually. There's no renewed focus for Torben here. He's in trouble, but the Red Team elbows are getting low. They're both Guardians reloading, but there's one kill there onto the Reaper. I think that should land. There's no steal here because they're on the other side of the map there. But the Thieves actually leaving trade nodes, but Red Team now ahead. But that Reaper, just a bit too vulnerable, gets blown up there, and the cleave is going to be massive there. I think we're going to see maybe another downside as well. Seaman Slipper in trouble. Actually, there is a downside on the Red, but he will rally because of that Reaper death. Unfortunate for him.
Unfortunately. Blue Team, or Red Team, excuse me, I think overstaying their welcome here on Mansion. D again doing a good job of holding on a map control. The rest of this map, he's gotten the decaps out there on the other nodes, and I think Blue Team may be able to hold on to this game. Red Team really pushing it to them, but unfortunately that team fight there at the end just cost them a bit too much. They don't have nodes either because I think D is just rotating around the Red Team Thief a little bit better. And it does look as though Blue Team should be able to hold on to this map and to the game. It's not over yet. There's still time for Red Team to come back.
This is the Warrior needs to win.
2 kills.
If this Warrior wins the 1v1, it's huge. D's going to plus it, though, aware of the fact that the Ranger is having a bit of trouble. Yeah, I really like that. But so is Seamen God and Seamen Slurper. But Blue get mid as well. That's a big problem right now. However, if they are able to get a double cap, they would be in business if they could get a kill here. So every point matters. Oh, they get a decap, actually. The Rampage is good.
Yeah, now, but they don't have they're not going to be able to get the full cap, even if they can find a kill here, unless the Guardian not being in this fight is actually a bit of an issue here for Blue Team. But I just don't think they have enough time. They're 15 points behind. They need to be able to get this full cap now. And even if they have the pressure in this fight, they're just not going to be able to do it.
The Warrior actually gets a kill in the 2v3. That is absolutely massive. If they can now decap middle and somehow secure this kill, there is... Oh, no! But the Seaman God is in the downside. But there she rises. So this Warrior is actually carrying to a disgusting degree. But Red Team actually lose the fight on middle. They need the decap this. They've got to get that there as well. Oh, the Ranger winning the double cap is not... sorry, the Warrior getting the double cap is not good enough, particularly with the kill coming through there. The Fear actually fears the Thief off, denying the Storm. Yeah, the Reaper knows he can't die right now. 5 points will pretty much be a guaranteed win. But D is going to solidify here. Red's got X knows it as well. Here comes the Storm. The Fear actually lands again. They need to... Red Team needs to res this somehow.
The Guardian has Signet. Why is he signaling this?
Oh, no.
Wait, they get the decap.
What?
What? They get the kill. Oh, they're going to win off of the kill out of the Reaper. Oh, no. What a close match. But Edgy and Sad able to take it in the last second. I don't know why the Guardian didn't signet. He had the Revenant was on the node. He could have held it. Why didn't he go for the signet?
Oh yeah, he tried to go, but he couldn't quite pop it. Yeah, he was maybe just didn't see the downside or something like that. But oh man, what a game! What an insane game! Yeah,
unfortunate
Edgy and Sad.
for Seamen Demons. Yeah, they win off of that kill at the last second.
That's a big kill.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? Game number 2, and it's a very different map as well. I think that you were saying this, the Warrior doing an absolutely ridiculous job in that, And this map allows him, I think, to have even a little bit more value on the side nodes. So again, if they can sort of leverage that advantage they're gaining from the Warrior, this could very easily turn into a win. I mean, that game was about as close as you can really get, right? So I don't think there's any way to say, oh, Edgy and Sad are going to have this one for sure. I think it is going to be a very close game either way. But certainly, I think Red Team have a very strong chance here if they can find a way to get more value out of that Warrior. I have to see if they do. By the way, we're still waiting for one more. Oh, he's swapped from Ranger to Hollow. I'm not. I guess he feels that the Prot Hollow will do a little bit better in the 1v1 against the Warrior, which kind of makes sense. But I guess we'll have to see how it works out. We'll see if the Warrior struggles with that 1v1 a little bit more. It also does depend on where the Warrior goes and where the Hollow goes. Because the Warrior's been pushing far constantly, right? He's always sort of forcing the blue team to put their side noder on their home node, and that's obviously going to be an advantage for the red team. We'll have to see if the Hollow tries to just rotate around him, and I'm almost kind of surprised we don't just see him staying on Ranger if that's the class he's more comfortable with, and just rotating around the Warrior. He has a little bit of a better opportunity to do so on this map, but we'll have to see if the way these teams decide to make it happen. 1-0 for Edgy and Sad. They've got the round advantage here on Coliseum.
Yeah, that's they do.
Of course.
And it's an important match, as you said, right? Winning this is a very big deal for the overall standing. But with the game that close, look, if we don't get a third game, Roy, I'm going to be, look, the chat's saying that we should be increasing the script writers' pay, but if we don't get a third game, that pay rise, it's gone, right? It doesn't exist at that point.
True. That is true. And, I do also want to highlight D's plays. I think that even though that initial sort of death at Windmill was a little bit questionable, and he had at least one more death throughout the game that I think he probably, I didn't see what led up to the death, but it certainly wasn't in a good position. That being said, I think that his decaps were really good. I think he rotated around the red team thief very, very well, especially considering he always was forced to rotate into a losing 1v1 side. So, he was basically playing weak side, and I think he played around it really well. So very, very good job there from D. I think I do want to highlight his thief abilities on Kylo.
Yep, definitely worked out very, very well, actually. They're getting decap after decap after decap, and also giving the Warrior a bit of trouble. And I think that's what you've got to do, right? If your duelist is having a bit of trouble, and the Warrior there, the Seamen connoisseur was absolutely, winning, consistently winning that 1v1, then it is the responsibility of the Thief to kind of make sure that you are able to control that node and help out your duelist in that situation.
Yep. And here we go. So we'll have to see both side noders go into their home nodes. There's not going to be a cross from the side noders. They're just going to secure the home nodes for now. And again, I want to see if this NG is going to go in the 1v1 thinking he has a better job or a better chance in this 1v1 against the Warrior on Prot Hollow, or if he's just going to try and out-rotate the Warrior, which we didn't really see him do on Kylo. Obviously, again, like I said, I think a little bit of a harder job to do it. This is a very aggressive cross here. The Revenant and the Thief from Red Team going to be going across into the Prot Hollow, and that might be their plan. That might be, what they want to do. But Blue Team going to be able to predict this. They, out of stealth, are going to open up onto the Revenant. Kite Spot's going to keep him alive for now, and it does mean that Red Team will have a very strong numbers advantage coming into this middle fight.
Yeah, it didn't really work out for them last time. A little bit harder to survive this on Kylo. I think Blue Team was able to get the kill on the Thief, of course, and then directly snowball them out. This time, though, the additional terrain does help the Rev and the Thief survive, and now they're going to push directly into the fight. But I think we need to see an answer to D. D already going for the... Oh, Seaman got, I think... He noticed it, but no, actually wants to go for the confirm the kill and then go after, and they do get that. Nice. I actually like that trade. Just trade the decap, but win the team fight there. You can see the Thief think about doing it. Now he's just going to go for the decap, but the Hollow will be there, but a very strong start right now for the Seamen.
Yep, they obviously, yeah, I don't think this is necessarily a bad rotation from D. He is going to go for that decap into the full cap, and we actually see the Warrior leaving. So what this says to me is that the Warrior isn't really interested in 1v1ing the Hollow. He wants to just, confirm his home node. He wants to stay there, and he wants to sort of force the Hollow to rotate into him, or
the
just,
Necro and the Guard rotating
nodes.
for this, by the way.
Yeah, this is a huge overextension. They've gained kills, and they don't push Mansion. And I would have actually preferred, again, the reason I say that I think the reason we see this rotation is the Warrior just doesn't want to 1v1 the Hollow for whatever reason. Because if they had just put the Warrior into the far node, if they had just said, all right, fine, you want to send your Thief, cap our home node, we're just going to go push into your far node, your home node, we got 2 kills, we can easily do that and probably follow up with a kill on the Hollow. Instead, they don't because they don't want their warrior positioned there. So they are going to be able to hold on to the double cap eventually, but it is a little bit of a slower rotation, and they don't really gain as much from that double kill on mid as maybe they could have, and it allows blue team to just easily set themselves up back into another team fight here. Downstates on both sides, though, it's going to be the Scourge for blue team, the Revenant, should be the Reaper there on the side of red team. D coming in to interrupt that. Signet going to be interrupted from the red side. We're going to see Hard Res coming out here from blue team. They're going for Signet as well. Hard Res is going to be good. Signet there coming out from Supplier now onto the Reaper. He's going to be good. Both players going to be back up. Breach dropped onto the node now by the Scourge. A lot of pressure going back onto the Revenant here from red team. There's no Signet available anymore. And they're just going for the cleave. Well is going to be dropped there by the Scourge. The Reaper kind of stuck on that node as well. It looks like the cleanup from blue team is going to be good. And so far, they're striking back in this second team fight on Coliseum.
That was brutal, a razor edge team fight there. I think the Scourge was down to something like 10% downs AL, but they couldn't quite finish it. Very good discipline to go for those reses there by the blue team. Exceptional stuff indeed, and even preserved the Signet on the Guardian, whereas of course it was burned for the red team completely. But red again, they do a good job here. They just leave, and they're going to be able to pick themselves up at least one of the buffs. They'll get the shield for free here. The Thieves engage in an endless duel over here. I believe they're exact mirror builds here, actually, yeah. So this is probably pretty endless. I don't really see either of them dying there with Shadow Arts. So they'll be here until someone else decides to rock up. And actually, oh wow, double cluster actually lands on D, leaving D incredibly vulnerable if there is going to be a plus from the Revenant, which is about to happen here. Or if D doesn't see this is really scary. I don't think D's seen this. Here's the Rev. Oh, the Rev does not land the ability, but the Thief is now going to leave, yielding the buff. Okay, D just barely getting away, but the chase is on, actually.
Yeah, but double buffs coming into this team fight, big plus here for the red team. And I think blue team should just recognize this. D already moving to go for the decap on to the Dragon node. I think if red team just leave and they hold on to sides, that would be much better. The thing is, the Revenant predicting this, he's going to leave and he's going to be able to stop that decap from happening. So blue team are going to be kind of forced to continue to fight into this double buff team fight of red team. So far, though, they are doing a good job sustaining. We're going to see Breach again dropped here onto the node. That's really going to force red team away off that node. But for the moment, they are outnumbered here. And again, buffs, huge difference, huge factor in this team fight. The Revenant coming back into this team fight as well. Or sorry, he's not able to come back into this team fight as D does make his way back in, evening things up. And so far, blue team looking like they're going to be able to take this one, even with the disadvantage of the buffs. We do see a good res coming out onto the Core Guardian, though. They're going to continue to train him down. He has RF in 2 seconds. Can he get to it? Is he going to be able to hold on? Tries to get his heal out. It's not going to happen. There's
both guards down
out of the blue team Guardian. There's going to be a blood res on top of the red team Guardian. I think that's going to be enough to keep him alive. The Cleave's looking good. There's the Reaper buff as well. And yeah, downstate's abound here. And we're going to see the rally coming out from the Guardian. And that's what happens when you pick a fight on middle node with double buffs. It's going to not really go your way. Looks kind of like it could have happened there for the blue team, but a really good res onto that Guardian into the cleave pressure, just not going to happen. That being said, we saw red team not gain enough from that first initial fight there that they won. They weren't able to turn that into a really hard winning map state. We'll see if they can do it here. Again, though, I got to highlight D. I mean, he's forcing red team to chase him to their home node constantly.
Yeah,
he's not allowing them to push into far.
It's removing the punish from this from the NG, because the NG is playing very conservatively, but is AFKing on the node pretty much the entire time. But that's okay as long as they can stay ahead in this game. However, I think the problem with this might start to manifest fairly soon. Like if red team wins another team fight, with buffs or without, then I think the Hollow is going to have to start playing the map a little bit more in this situation, because if the Hollow cannot let these 5v4s happen, because that's just so difficult to win. It just won't happen. And it's going to be another double buff actually for the red team, or maybe only one actually. Actually, I think it will be double. The Rev can't make it. Yeah, that's going to be double buff again. Good map awareness there by the red team, having their players positioned for that. However, that does of course leave them a little bit outnumbered on the map temporarily, but actually never mind that. The Guardian dies.
And so here's one of the big issues. Right now, I think D should have probably gone for the decap while the Warrior went for, that buff. And obviously, I've been talking about how I think D's doing a good job of going for these decaps on to the far node. But the problem is, and you mentioned this a little bit, because the NG has literally AFK'd online the entire game, any value D gets by pushing into far is more or less a moot point, because they're essentially 4v5 on the map. So this NG has to either rotate, or they have to be able to get value out of the two nodes. And so D constantly pushing into far means that they're outnumbered in these fights. Red team now, I think, are going to take advantage of this fact. They're going to push into this node. They're immediately getting the kill onto this NG. Outnumbered as well because of the initial respawns coming through. The Signet will be good. This is a little bit of a gamble from red team, just because if they do lose here, will allow blue team to push back into this map, and the lead that they've grown now will kind of fall. But so far, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Never mind, that is going to be what is happening. The Thief getting taken out. RF here from the Guardian. He's not going to be able to signet the port from the Thief as well. Is going to stop his signet from being effective, and that's going to be the cleave confirmed there. And this is where red team have unfortunately kind of lost that gamble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure if it was a gamble. I just think it was just bad, Roy. I'm sorry, man. Like, there was no Rev in the team fight. Like, the Thief was D. D kind of carried that really hard by not even being there. D was keeping the Rev busy, actually finds the decap on middle as well. Yep. Okay, and that means no Rev in the team fight. So much less damage for the red team. And they all died. They should not have done that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, just to go back to what I was talking about before with the Hallway of Kang, obviously, yes, it's okay as long as you are winning the team fights on mid, but the Warrior has been leaving these fights. And so what we're seeing is this sort of this trade. Every time the Warrior leaves and he goes to this team fight, D will then leave the mid fight and he'll decap the far node. And that will seem like some immediate value, but the problem is if they're always losing those middle team fights, and in big fashion too, the fights that the Seaman Demons have won have usually resulted in at least 2 kills. D getting a decap at far doesn't really win them the game. It just slows down the point game from red team. And the only reason we see the lead here for blue team now is because red team pushed into that far node and lost. And if they hadn't, they would still be able to hold on to that double cap effectively and win the game. So I do think this Hollow AF Kang is losing them a lot of value when the Warrior rotates into these fights and wins the fights for them. That being said, blue team now have found their footing a little bit better. They're going to find this kill onto the Guardian. I don't know if a res is going to be possible. There's a lot of pressure here. The breach dropped now by the Scourge as well for blue team. He's going to be forced out from the Revenant as well, trying to peel himself out with Jade Winds, but I think they might be able to find at least 1 more kill, if not 2 kills onto the DPS players here from the red side. Revenant going to fall. Reaper trying to get away. He's going to be probably followed up. The Warrior here to try to peel for him, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. 3 players from the blue team on top of this Reaper. He just doesn't have the cooldowns to sustain himself. The Guardian still going to be on respawn as well. And yeah, 2 more kills picked up after that fight. And blue team definitely in a dominant position right now. It's going to be very difficult for red to come back into this.
Oh, yeah, the Thief couldn't get the signal off there, unfortunately, for the Seaman supplier. And, oh, I think we are being denied our 3rd game, Roy. The stagger at this stage in the game is too much, because this is where that Hollow AFK strat is disgusting, right? Because now red team needs to get this decap, and this guy here is just sitting here like a toad, just enjoying himself over here, the bottom of the pond, gathering up some points. He's been AFK the entire game.
I don't understand why red team pushed far. I really don't get it. They were winning every time, you know, again, decapping your home node is annoying, but if you're constantly holding mid and you're constantly winning fights and getting kills from that, you're going to win off of it. Pushing far was really the only way they could lose, and they're losing because they pushed far. I don't understand why, you know, the decision to do it. Especially considering there were respawns coming through blue. And again, it looked kind of like they maybe had an advantage, but you are going to eventually lose that, especially, again, when like you said, the Rev was 1v1ing D for some reason on the other side of the map. Huge loss of teamfight value. And that is going to be the game. Edgy and Sad are going to be able to clean this up 2-0. Seaman Demons, very close game on Kylo. They really brought it to them. I think they had a pretty strong strat here. It looked like they were doing well in the beginning of this match and into the middle as well, but then that one push into far, because of how close the game was, kind of just threw it away, and they haven't been able to recover since. So blue team going to be able to take this 2-0.
Yes. Oh, a bit of an anticlimax there as well, you know, with the game kind of fizzling towards the end. But, of course, very well played there by blue to make the recovery as they did, actually. Just a little bit of a mistake there by red and just spiraled out of control and just got them punished there. Big team fight action there as well. The team's really trading some blows. You can see the score line there, just crossing over, up and down, hither and thither. Very awesome stuff there. Love to see that.
All right. We're now going to move on to our 2nd match of the round. Let me get these teams back in here.
I'm going to go ahead and reset the game. Of course, it's going to be the Dream Team versus, I believe, the Loser Bracket All-Stars are up next.
Yes, indeed.
Still all to play for here, of course. The standing is very much relevant. We can go ahead and take a look at how it's popping up right now, essentially. Immediately, here we go. If we go over to the Battle Fine, we can see where the standings are currently. There you go. You can see that Edgy and Sad are 2-0-0. The Seamen Demons are actually 1-0-1. Of course, the Dream Team and the loser bracket All-Stars are 0-0-1 right now. Of course, well, I mean, ties don't even exist in Guild Wars 2, but you know what? You know, we can pretend that they do in this particular instance. So these teams, if they want to get up to that third place, right, they need to win here, right? They can't go down 0-2. 0-2 is not an option here. Well, it is, but it's not a desirable option.
No, probably not. Probably not what you want to do. What you want to get. Oh, someone is messaging me. What is up?
What's the situation?
Yes. I don't know. But all right, we should be getting our teams in here. Yep, we can already see them joining.
Yes, indeed. They are loading around the Dream Team on Riddle. I need to reset the score real quick.
So this is it. Apparently, we've gotten a team change name. So Edgy and Sad, apparently having won some games, they are no longer sad, although I would say they probably are still very edgy based off of the players in their team. And they are now going to be known as Torben and the Misfits, which is a interesting choice, you know, to be sure. But Misfits does apply pretty well here, I'd say.
Well, I will be happy to update that there.
Yeah.
when we have them play again in the final round of Round Robin. That is truly incredible stuff, guys. Unbelievable and epic gaming there as well. You know, Torben winning those games, not feeling sad anymore, feeling joyous, full of happiness there, going into the final stages of the tournament as a highly rated team on NA. No, guys, it is NA. We are on NA right now, the North American servers. It feels good here, guys. It's very, very big stuff. Right, we've got some more rounds to go, more games. We're about halfway through all of this, actually, so plenty more exciting PvP to go. If you want to help out, guys, you want to support that PvP action, then boom, send some gold, send some Mystic coins for prize. We're building up a big 50,000 gold prize pool for this event. So get on over, log into the game, and send me all your Mystic coins. Mighty Teapot 2093, exclamation mark IGN in the chat. Cran, stop playing New World and start playing with Ultranum. What are you doing? Okay, Ultram, you got to get in there and start gaming. Okay, just clone Fly, get a new version of him right in there as well. Okay, come on, get in there and start gaming.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I don't understand why they're choosing to not play because Fly can't be there. Fly isn't even good. I mean, when was the last time Fly was on a winning team? Like, they didn't play in the last HCL because Fly wasn't there. They aren't playing it in this one because he isn't there. I mean, there's like literally, I don't know, go get Sizer or something. Like, he's better than Fly. Find like a Plat 1 thief from HOTM. He's better than Fly.
Plat 1 thief?
I don't, you know, I mean, you could probably even go gold 3. I don't see the point. I mean, you're literally losing out because we would have put it in the invitational bracket too. And of course, Cran is, you know, being a weird New World player, you know, and who enjoys that game? That game sucks, you know, but, yeah, I don't know, man. Regardless though, we are waiting for these teams to ready up and then we'll be getting our 4th game of the day underway.
Indeed. And we see some Druid action. Of course, we've seen these teams before. They are the teams that we saw in the first match of the day. And, well, here we go. They begin the Dream Team running still with the somewhat unusual composition. The Minion Mancer, of course. We also have the DPS Tempest, the Support Scourge, the Thief, and the Druid. Let's see what they're going to make of this game. They face a powerful set of teams, though. They face Support Guardian from Fog, Lepra on Core Necromancer, a Scourge that, doubling up on that Necromancer is going to be scary, I think. Red, they can't team fight this. I think they have to start dodging this. Although, having said that, they actually do have double Necro and a Tempest themselves, so maybe it can work, but they are going to have a lot less support from the Tempest compared to the Support Guardian.
Absolutely. And sorry, I'm just setting up predictions because the rest of your mods are sleeping on the job. But here we go. Clock Tower fight going to be engaged now. Fogocentric, our old DH player, now under the Support Guardian, is going to be in a little bit of pressure, isolated from the rest of his team, or currently trying to hold down the node. Breach is going to be dropped by one of the Scourges. Not sure which one it is. However, it does look like Red Team with a little bit of an advantage so far. However, the support, I think, will be on the side of Blue Team if they can continue to keep this fight going. Lich coming out now from the Red Team Necro, one of them. Anyways, as again, Red Team continue to really split this team up very well. The core Necro going to be very isolated and under a lot of pressure, but the Guardian now going to be, excuse me, the Tempest now going to be kind of turned on. Still, Red Team able to maintain pressure and control of the node. it does look like blue team going to try and go for side node pressure over winning this mid fight at the moment.
Yeah, interesting actually, and in fact, red are going to just straight up win, right? They have this kill on the Scourge. There is a guard. There will be a Signet, I believe. Actually, no, there will not be. Fog actually burned it, but missed for whatever reason, so could not actually get that revive. And red take a first nice team fight. The Thief, during all of that though, was able to neutralize the win, which is a very, very nice pickup. And red already not kind of zerging a little bit here. They're not responding to this push from the Necromancer. The Druid is now going there as well, but actually the Guardian will be here to keep that Necromancer alive quite nicely there too. I need to change my settings here because the characters have stopped rendering. That's not good. There we go. Now they are. Too many minions, honestly.
They're all just in stealth permanently. That's all it is.
That's seems like a new elite spec, right? That's the new Thief elite spec, just perma stealth. And you can also attack at the same time. That'll be enjoyable.
I mean, that's like Deadeye on roids. I kind of like that. You know, juiced up Deadeye. Just never the reveal. I ain't never seen no reveal debuff. You know, it's pretty good. Either way, those side nodes going the way of blue team here. However, a lot of pressure pushed on to this core necro. I like red team's decision to push into this, but unfortunately, they've given up middle node as well. Blue team going to continue to just maintain slightly better node control, I think, than red team. However, if the kill comes out here onto this core guardian, which it looks like it will, that could allow red team to turn this into a strong push on the middle. So there's now no support and no core necro here for blue team. They're going to potentially try to 2v4 or maybe even 2v5 this if the Tempest leaves. But I think, yeah, they're just going to give up the node. They're going to seed it, and that's probably the right call. The Scourge ports back into the traps that the Condi Druid trapping him and CCing him. And that's actually potentially going to turn into a kill. Wait, is this Guardian going to self-res? No, okay, never mind.
The Thief was here as well, but the Tornado is going to be good here from the original gangs. I think red, they need to really solidified their plan. They're actually doing a really good job in these fights, but they need to come up with a plan. They're good. They're killing things and they're getting caps, but they aren't really doing the hold on. They need to listen to the announcer at the start of the game, kind of, you know, hold on to your point, seize theirs. They're doing the seizing, but they're not doing the holding right now. They need to assign a player to respond to rotations from the Thief in some way. Otherwise, they're going to have a very, very sweaty game, and they're just going to win off kills, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird, and I think that, again, because of the comp that we see these two teams running, again, you know, not necessarily terrible comps, although I do think that the blue team is a little bit closer to what you would kind of expect from meta. But overall, it seems like they're having a lot of trouble sort of, again, determining what they want to do. We saw, you know, this be an issue for both these teams, really, I think, before. But, you know, they're not really just sticking to a single game plan. They're kind of all over the place. There's been some team fights. They're trying to rotate. Again, it looks like blue team was having a little bit better of a job of getting those nodes, but then they overextend into the far node. They lose players in this team fight, and they don't really try to, like, peel them out at all. Red team's able to isolate those kills and get value out of those kills and turn that into more map control, even though I think the rotations from blue team a little bit better. Huge mage bait tether there from the Spellbreaker, actually, almost getting the kill onto that Druid, but he is going to be able to wriggle away. And now blue team again. I think this is kind of a similar situation as before. Well, never mind. They're able to find that kill. We're
Signet
coming out.
No.
Cancel. Oh, the hard res is going to be good.
Yeah, cancels for the hard res. Oh, wait. It was used. I mean, that was just well, he missed. Okay, well, never mind. The team fight will once again begin. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, even though blue team is definitely playing the map a little bit better, I think, they need to actually win something. They need to get a kill. They nearly had that Druid there, but they're not going to be able to find it now. And I do like that the Druid is leaving this fight to go and contest over here as well. And that does kind of allow the Thief to also help go for the kill on this Spellbreaker. But now red team do need to actually continue winning this fight here, and they're actually doing a very good job of it. Like, the double Necro and the Tempest, it is bringing some serious damage, but I think the Tempest is going to die. Well, hey, it will be great to have the Signet right now, but sadly, that is not currently used. Although the Vapor directly towards the double Necro, that might be a pretty easy hand res, actually.
Oh, big knockback. Yeah, the stomp, that's going to be good. Yeah.
That's big. Very nice there from the blue team there. Very nice knockback. Denying that there is no stability or blind or anything available for the Necromancers, although they aren't actually going to concede the node. They're going to actually hold on. Well, with Scourge and Core Necro, they might be able to get away with it until the Ellie is, but the Ellie is now back. I think the Ellie probably needs to go and help them out again. Oh no, going to go mid instead, not really sure. No, actually now redirects there, changes the mind, baiting me into thinking that he was going to let his team feed, but no. Here comes the Tempest, but it might be a little bit too late. There's going to be a misform res. Oh no, but he he pressed Misform before starting reviving Roy. That is somewhat unfortunate.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. It is certainly a bit of an issue. But again, I want to highlight this warrior. I highlighted him a lot there on the Temple game. He did a really nice job of holding 1v2 for a while, and his thief was eventually able to come in plus. They've now turned that into a kill on this druid. The red team thief going to be in a lot of danger. So they're actually winning all 3 nodes because of it. The one thing I do want to kind of counter to that is that this blue team thief he's rotating very slowly. It took him a really long time to come into this 1vx, and I definitely want to see him rotate a little bit faster because again, I think this warrior seems to be a very strong player. He's getting a lot of value out of his outnumbered fights that he's been taking in multiple games, multiple matches, and I really think we want to see blue team sort of leverage that and take advantage of it. That being said, good job with holding the triple cap for a little while. We are going to see the eventual decap coming out here onto the middle node. We've got the OG Gangster, as well as the menu Bitcoin Core Necromancer here trying to fight outnumbered. Fortunately, though, at the end of it, it looks like they're probably going to have to give this up, although a lot of pressure on a couple of these players, and the Lich, the Scourge taken out over at Windmill is going to be pretty good. Warrior eventually crossing off from the Mansion into the Windmill now, and that'll allow Blue Team to sort of push in there, but I think because of the deaths, it's going to sort of turn against them. They're not going to be able to fully commit to that node.
Oh, they let the red team let the Guardian slip away there. He had nothing left, but they actually let him get completely out of combat and reset there, instead going for that really aggressive push towards the warrior. Are they even going to find the warrior? I'm not sure if they are. I think what needs to happen, though, is that the red team should recognize they should just leave the druid here and just let the Scourge rotate back into the team fight. They are doing that now, so great decision-making here by the red team, but they've got a bit of ground to make up now. They need to get this fight. I mean, I think these thieves just 1v1ing over here. I don't know, like, if this red thief can't get the decap, he just needs to leave. He's been here for a while. I think he was doing it a long time previously, really trying to fight for that decap. I think you just leave. You can't get it. Looks like he might just be able to. The stealth is going to be high value there for the red thief, of course. Like, you know, the blue team will simply have to yield there. But actually, even the warrior doing a great job on the other side of that there from the blue team too, actually getting the windmill away there. Although there is a lot of pressure there, so he's not able to maintain. But this fight is just so stale on mid. The necromancers are very, very tanky, but everyone's very, very tanky. Now we see the Tempest trying to mix things up a little bit by rotating away from that team fight, pushing towards the thief there. He's able to do so, and that will actually hold that will hold Fog here. Like, Fog actually moves over here as well. So there's going to be a slight window of opportunity for the red team to find a kill here on middle, but it is shrinking fast.
Yeah, and, you know, I think this was actually the first time I saw some good rotations here for the blue team, or one of the first times where they sent the warrior far. They were all there, even though they had that dead Scourge, and they left. And this was actually really, really good from them. They allowed, again, they took advantage of this warrior being clearly just winning these 1v1s. He's doing a really good job of it. He won his node. He's actually going to maybe get a full cap here. He got the kill onto the druid, so he will eventually get the full cap. And again, they can turn this into a triple cap. The one main issue is that thief 1v1 at windmill, or excuse me, mansion, like you said. But now, as long as they don't lose this team fight, I mean, this is an extremely strong position for them to be in. Unfortunately, the core and Necro not able to get to his heal in time. The Seeds is going to be the signet coming out. The stomp is going to be better. No signet there from the Guardian, unfortunately, and so that's going to be a lost team fight. But it's not really too bad for them. They had side nodes, but unfortunately, the thief is able to rotate out there from red team a little bit faster. And again, this is where that blue team thief just rotating a little too slow. He's going to give up that decap. They could have easily maintained double side nodes, you know, from that lost team fight, but they kind of give it away a little bit. So that is going to slow down their point gain. They get it back eventually, so not really too big of an issue. Red team not able to turn that decap into anything, but or even really this one team fight. But either way, I think blue team certainly need to work on the rotations a little bit better, even though they are currently winning this game very handily.
Yeah, you know, I think that quite a frustrating game for Red because they were doing pretty well in the fight. I think they won more than they lost, but I think you're absolutely right about this warrior. This warrior was kind of unanswered in this game. They weren't able to deal with this guy. Now he's going to go far again. Just move over here, stay over here, and just get more points and deny more points for the team. If you just look at if you actually look at the mansion here, right, or rather, if you look, even if you look at the windmill, like the windmill has been held neutral for a huge portion of the game, whereas the mansion has not had that treatment whatsoever for the blue team from the red team. So very nice play there in map control, like particularly from the thief and the warrior on the blue team. The team fighting good from red, but team fighting alone will not win you the game. You need to be able to convert that into something, and that's where the red team had a little bit of difficulty, I think.
Ooh, wait a minute. Huge couple of kills coming out here from the red team. Signet not going to be in time, and that's going to be 2 kills picked up, but probably doesn't matter. The warrior can basically just AFK on windmill there, and he's going to win. A couple nice fight there from red team, honestly, but it's just kind of too little too late. So, all right, I'm a little confused here, Teapot, because we've seen two warriors, across two different teams here. Tychuro, and of course, in this game, and Zarkian in previous matches. And I would say that both of them have done pretty well. In fact, I would almost go as far to say that both of them have been maybe the strongest players and had some of the strongest moments on their entire team. And yet everyone says Warrior's bad. So I think really everyone else is just bad, and they can't play Warrior. And these guys are just the best players in the game.
I think that sounds about right. Warrior, very high skill. Only good players can even play Warrior. It's it. Yeah. Everyone thinks Warrior is bad because they are, in fact, bad. That's fact. That is fact.
I'm going to go as far as to say if Boyce doesn't play Warrior in 2 weeks' time in the Invitational, he is actually just washed.
Ooh. Wow, that's a very strong statement right there. I'm not sure if there will be any Warrior. And maybe he can break out the Blade Sworn or something like that. Just get that out of nowhere there, getting in the bit of Blade Sworn action. Yeah, just hack, like open the other as well, I don't know. I mean, there might be a way to do it because people were playing Harbinger in the last beta because you could still play it if you'd already made the character.
That is true, they were, yeah.
So you never know, right? It could be lurking about the place somewhere, like hidden within the code.
Absolutely. But there we go. First game of this match going the way of the loser bracket all-stars. The Dream Team just falling a little bit short there. And, I mean, we can only really say it so many times where, we can go back to the comp, we can go back to the rotations. I think simply put, the blue team is just at this point stronger. But certainly, this Warrior is a serious problem for red team. They're going to have to really figure out how they want to respond to it. And I think someone's asking me if they can swap classes. Of course you can. Absolutely.
No. Locked in forever.
Yeah. You know what? We should I think for the invitational bracket, we should just do Mystic builds.
I think we should do more than that. I think we should randomly change the rules and the builds for the players just arbitrarily all the time. Right?
Yeah, I like that. Oh, and I think anytime someone's about to get a decap, let's say we
just kick them. We just kick them from the arena.
Let's say exactly. Yeah. Draws is pushing into far. He's about to get a decap that'll win his team the game. We just ban them from the arena.
Yeah, ban them from the arena. Done. Right, no decap. Yeah. Anytime anyone uses a skill that we don't like, right? So they use Lich Form, boom, banned. Right, they're out immediately, gone.
Yeah, they have to figure out which skills they can and can't use.
Yeah, I think that would add an extra level of kind of like a puzzle game component, right?
Yeah, it'll be like escape rooms, oh, can I press Lich? Well, let's find out. Nope, guess not. Yeah. All right, anyways, we'll have to formulate those ideas. We'll get back to you guys. I'm sure I'll be expecting some cool stuff. We do see a swap here from the Dream Team. It is going to be Reaper over the Core Necro that they were running before. So not an actual class swap, just a spec swap.
Interesting there as well, actually. Just going for even more damage, I guess. I mean, I think maybe they were concerned that they were taking a little bit too long to punch through the team fight. And, well, if they can actually connect the Reaper and keep that Reaper alive, that will certainly get the job done. The Shroud there, the quickness, the Lich, they can be truly devastating in the right hands. And, well, so far they are actually getting a lot of damage there onto Parasitic Tendency. Already good kiting there. They're using that Spectral Warp to teleport away there from the red team's onslaught. However, though, that is still a very, very precious schedule. However, the Counter Lich comes out there from Lepra. Original Gangster in trouble. However, we do see that kill. There's a Signet there. Is there a steal? I believe there was an Interrupt Fear, I think, or something like that. That's a very nice interrupt there as well. But Original Gangster is down to it. But actually, Fog going for the Signet. I think both Signets are going to come through. Signet and the red Signet used by the Scourge. Double revive. Wow. What that's a well-loved team there. But never mind, Parasitic Tendency is down again. The Blue Thief in a little bit of trouble and does go down. But look at that Warrior, Roy. His back is strong.
His back is strong. He's going to be able to get that side node there, the far node, and the Ranger's now going to be forced to push into him. What Blue Team really want to do here is just leave mid, right? And we do see the Necro doing it. Obviously, they lost several players there, unfortunately, and the Thief dying here as well is a really big issue. And, I think, yeah, I mean, as soon as they realized they were starting to lose this fight, they did get that Signet, but as soon as things started to crumble afterwards, they should have just left a little bit sooner. The Thief certainly should not have been dying in that fight, even if the Guardian and the Necros die. just leave and put yourself in a position where you can get value out of this Warriors rotation. You can plus him. Fortunately, that's not an option for them right now. So the Warriors now going to be forced to potentially hold outnumbered until the Thief can make his way over there. Of course, the Red Team Thief going to recognize this, and this is a very good rotation from the Red Team Thief. He's going to predict the Blue Team Thief's movement. He's going to move over here to Dragon and make sure that Thief can't get value out of his rotation. So Blue Team's just going to have to look to regroup. They're going to have to figure out where they want to push. They want to try and go for a team fight again at mid. Do they want to try to enable this Warrior here at far? And we're going to see some rotations from the Red Team now starting to leave here. But again, yeah, they're just going to leave the Warrior to kind of troll there at far, and they're going to look to team fight again around mid.
What do you want to see the Red Team doing into that Warrior? The Warrior is a huge problem from the right. They're leaving the Tempest, but I do not see that working very well whatsoever, actually. What do they do
Honestly,
against this?
Rotate around him. If he pushes far, you push far. If he stays home, you stay home. I mean, it's kind of what the Praholo did from the Edgy and Sad team last game. He just stayed home and he didn't push into the Warrior. And obviously, again, that sort of didn't work out for them because they weren't winning the team fights. D was still trying to make a little bit of that value, and Seaman Demons ended up kind of throwing the value their Warrior got from rotating to those team fights away. But if you can go into a team fight as the side noter where you're losing those 1v1s, it's going to be a lot better than you just losing those 1v1s.
Thief leaves too soon there. Doesn't confirm the kill on the core. Necromancer gets revived up there. Looks like it will go down again. There is still a Signet, I believe. No stability, so it could be interrupted. Oh, that stomp was so very, very close. Great Signet there by Fog. Keeping that alive. The Druid, meanwhile, getting chopped to pieces over here a little bit by the Thief. Oh, and the Warrior, of course, reclaims the node as the Tempest rotates back to mid. Blue, they're just in a really weird spot. Like, they probably wish this was a 5v5 deathmatch, Roy, but I'm afraid it isn't. It's not a deathmatch. They need to control this map, and they still have no answer to this Warrior.
Yes. Red Team, I think, is what you mean when you say they wish it was a 5v5 deathmatch.
Indeed.
Just to clarify, yes. But, no, I mean, you're right. It does look like they're a little bit stronger in some of these team fights. Whether that's just because of the the Reaper difference as opposed to the Core Necro, whether that's just them playing it a little bit better. But yeah, they don't seem to have an answer for this Warrior. The Druid consistently dying to this Warrior or, elsewhere on the map. And again, I would really love to see them just try and rotate around it. The Druid actually has a lot of rotational capability. He's running Staff, he's running Trapper Runes, which is going to allow him to move around the map very, very quickly. I think it would be very interesting to see if he can try and not rotate this Warrior, but honestly, it might not be possible. This Warrior doing a really good job. The Druid respawns and is forced to run straight into the Warrior. I mean, this is a really good rotation from the Spellbreaker. Now the Druid is going to try and go across the Warriors are going to follow him. I mean, he just can't get away. So, I mean, really the only option here is for the Red Team Thief to try and plus this Warrior and get a kill. We haven't seen them able to do it before. They might have to just play two nodes very, very conservatively, get kills in the team fight, and then push into the Warrior afterwards. If they can do that consistently, they have a chance. But, I mean, look at this. He can't even get to the node. He's just going to die.
He's dead. Doesn't even make it, though, dude. This is big here. Tycoon actually farming, cleaning house here, gets the kill, and his team wins the team fight as well. This is best case scenario. Original gangster in the downside there. One lone Necromancer will be able to get away there. The Scourge disengages, but this... It's starting to look a little bit hopeless right now for the Red Team. They're not that far behind, but they need to do something about this Warrior. He is just such a huge problem. He's running around, getting these caps. Just check. Look, again, he's on the Druid again immediately. There's going to be nightmares this Druid is going to have about this Spellbreaker chasing him down.
He never wants to see Warrior again.
Yeah. He's like, dude, this is busted, right? Well, listen, okay, like, you better hope this guy doesn't know anyone to aim at, because Warrior is getting nerfed next patch. If that's the case, guys, okay, it is going to get deleted even off the face of the earth, even more so than it already is. But still, Red Team, they do manage to get that Dragon back.
God.
Thieves going for the Druid getting chopped to bits. This Warrior is on a complete rampage. He's wants that kill.
The entire
He's going
team
for it.
is there.
He's going big. They're 4v1 onto him there. Tiny Leper as well. The Warrior might finally have his reign of terror ended. But they do get him. But Fog is here.
But the Guardian's here. He's going to Signet him.
There it is.
Yeah, he gets it.
The Warrior is back. Oh, he might die. That's a lot of damage here. Oh, as the leap away there as well. Needs has a bull charge soon, but no, it's not going to be up in time. And that is the misforms up will finally end the Warrior. Oh, but the Thief, the Blue Thief, won the 1v1 on the other side of the map there. I think... I don't want to see these Thieves 1v1. I think a really big problem here for Red is that they're never plussing the... this Thief should just be, like, making the Warrior's life miserable, right? Instead of 1v1ing and losing on the enemy node, he's got to be killing this Warrior, because this Warrior right now, he's pulling off the epic 1v9.
Yeah, I think so. You know, we've talked about a few things that the red team could try and do, but the thing is, the real problem is, simply put, this druid might just be too weak. And I don't mean the player, I mean the spec, and especially because he's not playing decap druid, right? Maybe that would serve him a little bit better than what he's on right now, his current build, into this warrior. You know, maybe he would have a little bit more value. He might be able to get these decaps into this warrior. Who knows? But I mean, consistently, he's just been dying 1v1. I mean, we can see right now he barely escapes with his life. The warrior only allowing him to live because he wants to go for the node instead. And you know, the other problem, of course, is that his team is now starting to lose team fights where before they seem to maybe be winning them a little bit. So at some point, I think you kind of have to just say, all right, these builds, these classes, this comp we're playing maybe isn't working. Hold that thought for a second. Are we about to see a self-res? Oh my God. That scared self-res. Wow, that's a bit unfortunate. Please pay attention to your downsticks, gamers, all right, when you are playing Guild Wars 2 PvP. I also just realized the Scourge playing Harbinger Shroud. Thoughts?
Well, this is true. It did used to see a lot of play, actually, and it is still played by some players. I think Prototype plays it occasionally on Scourge as well. So I don't think it's actually bad. And in a way, I almost see it as like trying to compensate for the lack of support from the Tempest, because it does give access to more area AoE barrier and a bit of extra boon truck. So I don't actually mind it that much. I think it's a perfectly good ability. Typically, you do see that Desert Empowerment come out there as well, of course, for that extra barrier application and more cleanses and stuff like that. But I don't think it's bad.
Wait, I'm sorry. It's not Harbinger Shroud anymore. Excuse me. This guy is not playing Elite Spec. I meant to say Sandstorm Shroud. Yes, exactly. He becomes the Sandstorm.
I feel like that wasn't a very good name. Sandstorm Shroud? They could have done better.
What would you have called it?
I mean, it's because it's not like a pulsing storm, right? It would have to be like a burst, right? Sand blast, right? Sand burst,
I like
you know?
that. I like that a lot, actually. Sand blast. I like that a lot. You could shout it. That would be like a Hadouken, you know?
Exactly.
Like I'm powering up my sand blast.
Yeah.
I'm about to blast these fools, you know? I like that. I do like that.
Come on.
Obviously, it looks like this game is starting to wind down. I think the blue team have this one. That'll be the clean 2-0 for them on Coliseum. And that means that will be the end of our second round here, which means we have one more round. The teams who have not faced each other so far have to face each other. And it does look like Edgy and Sad, or formerly known as Edgy and Sad, now Torben and the Misfits, certainly have, you know, they're in the first place right now with a clean 2-0. No one else has won 2 games besides them. That does mean, though, they still have a chance to lose. If they lose another game and Seaman Demons are able to win their third match, there is a chance that Seaman Demons come out on top. It depends on tiebreakers, of course. But we'll have to see what happens. That is 2-0 there for the loser bracket All-Stars over the Dream Team.
Indeed. Wow, you know, I've got to say, we've had a lot of clean sweeps in the tournament, both today and yesterday, but it always feels like it just isn't reflective of how close some of these games really are. Like, some of these are really intense matches. It's just such a shame that we don't get to see them go to that third match. We need to see some big, you know, ultimate effort to make that happen there. But anyway, let's go ahead and reset that. We need some new maps, right?
We do need some new maps. For round number 3, it will be Legacy, Skyhammer, Temple.
Ooh, Legacy, Sky. I don't think we've seen either of those 2 maps so far, I think, right? So that's going to be exciting there. I mean, look, we've already been seeing a lot of team fighting. I think we might see even more, actually. But here we go. Let's get started. We're going on to our next game, which I believe is going to be, what? Let's see, round 3. It will be the Seamen Demons versus Loser Bracket All-Stars, I believe, is the team we are looking for here.
Yes, and this is obviously an important game for both these teams. If these teams are tied right now, right? They are currently 1-1. So if they, 1 second.
Oh, well, that's not quite right. Hang on. Let me actually quickly reset. I didn't need to game end there, but I did it anyway. Nice. I love to see it. I did the game end because I enjoy ending the game, right? That's what I like. I love ending Guild Wars 2 games. You know, it's just fun. It's just fun, guys. It really is. Okay, the warrior build. Yeah, we can show the build when we load in, guys. We just need to quickly reset this, get back to the correct map. Then we can go and check it out. No problem, okay? We can do it, no problem, my friends.
See, but you did the same thing you did yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't have to reset the maps.
Yeah, but I like resetting that. So it's my, just a little bit of personal satisfaction. That's all it is.
Okay. Well, that's weird, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen, dude, okay, don't shame me.
I am gonna kink shame you. Actually, I'm gonna fulfill the role of Nike here.
Well, I mean, Nike,
yeah.
he simply documents, right? He just he'll just write it down.
That's true.
He'll get the information, right? He'll find out what's going on. Yes, indeed.
He has like a little black book.
Yeah, he does.
Oh.
Yeah, he like writes on it. Helseth has now arrived. It's
Oh,
NA
Helseth.
tournament. And I mean, look, listen, dude. He's gonna roast NA, but he's not even playing. I mean, that is. Ooh, I mean, that means essentially.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like Helseth, he's like he constantly talks like he'll like stream every now and then, right? He'll be like, oh, best Mesmer player in the game or something. And yet Mesmer's meta right now, and he's nowhere to be seen. So where is he? What's going on with that? Like, is he really the best Mesmer? Is he just scared of Rip? I kind of think so, and it's just, it's a little questionable. All right.
Well, that's the thing.
That's what
he only wants to play when he is the best, right? So in other words, when there's another Mesmer, he kind of doesn't want to have that competition, right? He doesn't want to play it. Because otherwise, then he's actually going to have to, be the best Mesmer. Like, otherwise, he's going to get like sued for false advertisement on his stream. So that's where the problems come in there as well. But anyway, I believe we are just about ready to get started on this game here. On the red team, we see the Seamen Demons loaded in fantastic. We actually have double Warrior in this game, so I'll actually show both of the builds for all of you guys who want to try out a little bit of Warrior here. It's going to be strength, discipline, and tactics here for the Seamen Connoisseur with Berserker Amulet with Rune of the Fighter. It's going to be great sword, axe shield.
This is huge. The Warriors finally get to
meet. Warrior 1v1 is could well happen actually. On the blue
we get
team.
To see who the true best Warrior player in the game is.
It's going to be the Hammer build for Tycoon, actually, with Defense, Discipline, and Spellbreaker. And he's playing with Hammer and Dagger Shield. Now, in the previous game, he was playing Greatsword instead of the Hammer. So just be aware of that if you want to try out this build. And this is actually a build, I think Vans plays this a lot, right, in PvP, I think. Like it's like almost a decat build, almost, right? You don't really have a lot of damage because every ability on Hammer does like 2 damage. But what you can do is you can CC things.
Yeah, it is possible we could see him actually just CC his enemy player for about 20 to 30 seconds straight and do a total of 30 damage. Regardless, though, we are going to see a very big cross coming out from Red Team. They've clearly been paying attention. They know this Warrior is a danger. Oh! Huge CC coming out to him. He is actually going to be able to stay alive for now. And the rotation coming out from his Thief is going to hopefully cover him long enough to survive. He gets the jump here as well, but he's out of a lot of cooldowns. Unfortunately, Hammer Shock not going to, or Earthbreaker, excuse me, not going to land there, and he's going to be brought into downstate. The Guardian is there, though. Is he going to, oh, yeah, really good knock there to, unfortunately, prevent the Signet there from blue team. And I believe that should be the kill, probably confirmed. So Red Team with a good opener there onto that Warrior, if maybe a little slower than they would have liked.
Yeah, getting that kill is very, very nice to start things off. Looks like they're going to follow that up into the Guardian too, actually, which is absolutely fantastic. And the Thief is being tracked by the Warrior in Rampage, so no value to be found there, no recovery potential there to be found. In fact, that even may well be a kill. It is! The axe throw. You've got to watch out for that axe throw. It can pack quite the punch if you aren't careful. And that Thief not able to evade that, and all of a sudden there's one lone Scourge from the blue team hanging around on it. That is already dead. That is a devastating opener.
You know what would be really cool? I would love to see like double kill come up on screen sometimes, because I mean he did just kill steal a little bit, but like some sort of like double kill, triple kill, like Rampage, Kilimanjaro, a little bit of copyright there maybe, but that would be kind of cool. But either way, over at the far node, Red Team's still maintaining a presence here. The Reaper is going to be in downstate, but the res comes through, and they're going to be able to turn that now onto a kill onto the core Necromancer. Seamen Demons certainly looking pretty dominant so far in this match. No res from the Guardian here either. He's already had used his Signet. RF going to be used here, but I mean he's really just delaying the inevitable at this point. 4 players from Red Team on top of him. That is not what you want to see if you are anybody. And unfortunately, so far, the Warrior 1v1. Come on, Seamen, respect the 1v1.
Oh, they're not respecting. They're not respecting here. That is, I mean, you hate to see that. That is a little bit cringe. Looks like the Warrior is almost certainly going to get taken out by the Zerg of the Red Team, just surging towards, and not much that can be done here for the Warrior, really. Good kiting, actually. Very nice kiting, actually. Some great evasion here, but is it going to be enough? That's the real question. Looks like the answer to that is actually yes. Makes it all the way up to the Scourge, but that Scourge is not looking too happy right now, getting chased down there by a huge amount of damage. The Warrior is still very, very low. The Warrior of the Red Team moving into intercept there as well. Warrior leaping out there. Good peel from the Scourge there and the Thief, and the Warrior does leap away, building up some regeneration stacks. But the red team's still looking to push more here. They want to find some kills. The Thief will be able to prevent the Reaper from pushing into the fight. I think the Thief can just run directly past the Reaper, right, and go and decap over there. But, oh, that's not looking good either way, because we already see the team fight being won by the red team. Parasitic tendency goes down. Fog arrives at probably not the best moment for that Guardian to actually maintain his livelihood over here. The damage will immediately be turned around to him. There's no renewed focus either, actually, and I think the red team will sniff that out and go for that kill almost instantaneously. Seamen Demons,
actually, from Lepra,
getting their revenge.
Yeah, and, you know, I think Blue Team, they were staggered kind of from the beginning after they lost their Warrior player and then kind of crumbled around that waterfall twice, really. And then after that last waterfall fight where they lost several players, they really didn't regroup properly. They had a chance to run Corey, but they kind of staggered themselves in there. We do see now the Guardian again sort of delaying the inevitable, running his way over to mid. He is going to be taken out. Lepra alone now without support. Parasitic tendency is there to try to support him as best he can on Scourge, but it's not going to be enough. Another kill going to be confirmed. And Blue Team just from the get-go have not really been able to fully regroup. Decent rotation from this Blue Team Thief. You know, he finds some value on the map while the rest of his team is sort of flailing about on mid and Corey. He's able to full cap there on the waterfall, but I mean, it just doesn't matter in the long run. Red team winning very dominantly on the other two nodes, finding kills. There's no way for Blue Team to do anything really with that, except look to potentially regroup, like hopefully, you know, we saw them almost go for on Corey. But again, I mean, the Scourge is dead. The other Necro is just about to come off respawn. There's no real way for them to actually, you know, fully regroup and fully push into a fight here, even with that one node. And Red Team are content to just take their time, find those kills, and now slowly push into the middle node, all the while tracking that Blue Team Thief.
And Fog getting caught here again. Just, we need a regroup here from Blue. Like, they've always got a little conga line. They've got a conveyor belt of players just being fed into red right now. You can see there's one Necro about to leave the gate. One's already on the waterfall here as well. A few players lingering around on mid, just waiting to die pretty much. Yep, there goes the Warrior. I mean, it's kind of...
Lord?
I mean, it's kind of one of those games where it's probably a little bit very hard to win at this point. A little bit very hard to win. There's a new one for you. Because, I don't know, like, let's suppose you regroup now. If you're the Blue Team and you go for a full regroup, by the time everyone's back and ready to push out, like, Red's going to be over 400 points, right? It's a bit of a
doable,
go next.
Though. I mean,
it's doable.
The thing is, you know, the nature of Legacy is that if you snowball, as we've pretty much seen Red Team do, you can very easily just, you know, build up a massive amount of points, and they are over 200 points behind. If Blue Team was able to regroup and then win a team fight, and then win a team fight, and then win a team fight, it's very, very winnable for them. The problem is they have not done that at all. I mean, since the beginning of the game, they have not regrouped. They have not been grouped up. They essentially haven't really had 5 players on the map properly. And I mean, we're going to see this here, the Blue Team Thief again. I think they've done a really good job of tracking him so far. He did get a little bit of value, that one cap on a waterfall that they still own, just because Red Team kind of chosen to not push into it, maybe sort of learning from their last mistake. But overall, I think they're doing a pretty good job. The Warrior keeping a nice eye on that Corey node, not really letting him get decap value there. And also just, you know, tracking him in these team fights pretty well, keeping him out of the fights a lot, not allowing to put pressure on it. But, I mean, the end of this is really just that they have not done a good enough job of regrouping and stopping themselves from being staggered. And, yeah, I mean, as fun as a Lord Rush might, you know, be, I don't think we're going to see Red Team go for it. And they are just going to be able to maintain this double cap. Huge
Warrior 1v1. Warrior 1v1 is now kicking off. Let's see. Let's see who is going to get the better end of this one. The CC is quite good from the hammer. But yeah, the Warrior here on the red team going in the minecart. That is technically actually not a legal move, I believe. But but never mind about that. We might give a little bit of a reminder to our players so they don't do that in future. You know, the minecart is a little bit of a weird piece of terrain, guys. For those who don't know, if you stand in it, you can't get knocked out of it. Obviously, very good at playing against something like, say, a druid, or of course, in this case, a warrior with a hammer to, you know, keep that warrior off the point.
The Revenant one-shots the thief. Oh, that thief got slurped up.
Yep, a little bit unfortunate there. The thief gets destroyed there. That Revenant landing some devastating critical strikes, ending the thief and ending the game.
Absolutely, yep. And match 1 on Legacy going to be going the way of the Sea-Men Demons very, very handily as well. Good showing from them. And now we go to Skyhammer.
Yeah, interesting map here. Again, it does tend to have a lot of team fight oriented stuff going on here, and seeing as blue team had a lot of difficulty there in that first game, they're going to have to try and do something a little bit different here. Try and play the objective, or just win the team fight, right? Just win the team fight forward, right? You know, come on, that's how it's going to be.
We never, like I've been saying, we never really saw them regrouped, right? We never really saw them have the potential to really break back into the map from the get-go, because again, the Warrior got opened up on. They did rotate in there, but it was just a little bit too slow for the red team to match the red team. The Warrior died, then the Guardian died, then the Necro died, then they went back into Waterfall, sort of, one at a time off respawn, died again, and it was just the same, that story just repeating itself throughout the rest of the match. So, if they can say, all right, listen, guys, that last game, we didn't regroup. We just staggered ourselves the entire match. And, maybe we have potential to win some of these fights. Maybe we have potential to out-rotate this red team. We never gave ourselves that chance. Let's do it this game. And, this map certainly provides a lot of opportunities to try and out-rotate your team if you're able to do so. We've seen some very good rotations from the Spellbreaker on the side of blue team. We've seen some decent rotations from the blue team Thief. As long as the core of that team fight, the two Necros and the Guardian, then, are able to find value elsewhere on the map, maybe they can leverage those rotations into some value. But I do also think Sea-Men Demons may be a little bit just of a stronger team here. They've got a little bit better game plan. I do think that's also some of the cleanest game we've seen from the Sea-Men Demons as well in this bracket so far.
The warm-up effect is real, it's good, like a lot of these teams might not necessarily have played that many games together. They're just kind of coming together to start out as a team potentially. So as every single game they're going to be getting better, practicing more, understanding their synergies, and just having a grand old time, improving as a group of players in Guild Wars 2 PvP. You'd love to see it. You love to see that sort of thing. But Sea-Men Demons probably feeling pretty confident going into this one, I would say, looking to secure a good position in the overall standings in the round robin.
Yeah, I mean, if they win this, they will be potentially second place. They will be second place, if not first, just because it really depends on if then the next game after this, or the next match after this, what happens with that. If Edgy and Sad, Torment and Misfits, if they win, then they'll be in first at 3-0. If they lose, they'd be then tied with the Sea-Men Demons at 2-1. So it does a little bit depend on the results of that. But that's neither here nor there as of yet. We got our second match on Skyhammer first. It's going to be a cross from both teams in a middle node for there, although it looks like Sea-Men Demons, again, maybe going to try to do what they did last game. However, the stealth is going to be seen by the blue team Thief. He's going to try and stop it, but he's going to get stopped himself. No. Huge kill onto this Thief, and there's almost no way the Signet can come in time. No. Fog-centric. Now going to be in a bit of a pickle himself as he's going to find himself. Oh, he almost baited them all, but he unfortunately baited himself. 3 players jumped down, but he fell too. Oh, that would have been so good. Oh, man. He's going to be taken out, trained down. Blue team will be able to get the middle node because of that, but that's not going to last for too long as 2 players on their team have been dead now, killed now, and that's going to allow red team to really find an advantage with the outnumbered on this map.
Yeah, the Warrior now in trouble too. He knew it was coming. He was standing on the no port spot there, so he couldn't be attacked by the Revenant and the Thief, but he knew the time was coming. He has to run away there, giving up that node, and red team looking to do the same over on mid. The Warrior from red playing conservatively, a little bit concerned about the Thief. Now has identified the Thief is going towards the middle node here, but the damage from red is going to be pretty damn good here as well. The Guardian supporting that Reaper there should be enough to keep it alive here just fine. Meanwhile, the Revenant Thief actually do get shut down a little bit there by the respawn of the support Guardian, but that means they're going to be able to rotate a little bit quicker over towards the middle, and this could be very dangerous for that blue team Scourge. Here comes the Revenant. There is a Signet available, I believe, but will the Guardian make it there in time? Can the Scourge hold on long enough? No.
No, indeed. He's going to be brought in downstate, so Signet there from the Guardian is not going to be good either, unfortunately. The cleave from red team just a little bit too strong. I mean, that being said, though, even with the kills advantage, red team not able to find the nodes, not able to find the caps. Blue team have stalled them pretty effectively so far, though that looks like it's probably about to end. I think one of the big reasons we saw that is because the kill on the Thief happened so quickly, and then obviously the follow-up cleave on it that by the time they eventually got that kill onto the Guardian, he burned through a lot of his cooldowns. The Thief was able to come back into the map, have a little bit of impact, as well as the fact that the kills were happening in roads, so red team weren't getting any value on the nodes from that. You do see a kill onto this Thief, and this is a little bit of an interesting kill. Not sure exactly how he got caught out there in roads. It's unfortunate for sure. But even losing, these fights around the map, blue team have done a good job of staying ahead of red team. Again, I think now that's going to change because of where we see the fights happening. The red team warrior winning, potentially, winning his 1v1 here against the Thief, unless, of course, that was a plus from the Revenant.
Oh,
He's now
warrior
gonna get engaged
1v1.
on by the Spellbreaker. Yeah, there it is.
Here we go. I think this is what we really want to see. This is what the entire stream has been waiting for. Let's see how this one is going to unfold before us here. The Warriors, I think they're both pretty tanky. There is the defense trait line for the blue Warrior, and that, of course, adds a lot more, and just the amount of crowd control that the Hammer brings to the table might make it somewhat stale, even though there's not a lot of pressure coming up from the blue Warrior. He is tanky, but anyway, we can keep an eye on that when we see this main mid fight here. The Scourge about to go down just as the Hammer comes up. That is not ideal. Hammer is being against by the blue Core Necromancer and the red Revenant here as well. Of course, the Core Necromancer can probably do a good job of outstanding and out-pressuring this Rev, but it's actually not doing so hot right now with a fairly low amount of HP, and in fact, the Rev might be able to very quickly get the kill. Not much shroud available right now. A big fear comes through. Can the Herald actually find the skill? Might just be able to do so there. 1% HP, 301 auto attack, and there it is.
There it is.
The red Rev gets the kill.
He just dodges the fear. Oh, he blinds the fear. Even better. Very good. Yeah, and that'll allow him to potentially get Skyhammer. I gotta be honest, I'm pretty disappointed that we see the Spellbreaker here from blue team not going for that DPS build he was running on Colosseum when they were against the other team that they fought, the Dream Team there. I really think that it would allow him to maybe find value in these 1v1s, but I don't think he's really going to do anything except just stall this. And since the rest of the red team are winning fights around the map, it'll allow either that Revenant or now, as we see, the Thief to rotate in here, plus and just force the node here. We are going to see the counter rotation from the blue team Thief, but again, it's going to be a little bit slow. And because the red team warrior has damage, he's able to just get that kill. And all the blue team Spellbreaker can do is watch and maybe throw out a CC here or there. It's just not going to be value. So I think this build choice is not ideal. Not really what he maybe could have gone for here to have the most impact. Either way, though, they're going to see red team just a kill behind, 5 points worth, and they're about to find that 5 points onto this Core Necromancer to make things even. Actually, with Fog Eccentric losing his life to gravity as well, that'll put them ahead by 5. And the double cap.
Yep. It has taken red team a little while to actually get back in this, but I do agree with you here. The Warrior has kind of... He's made himself less of a carry, right? Because now he can't really win 1v1s. When he was playing the Spellbreaker, he was he's getting kills, right? The DPS variant, he was getting kills into the Druid pretty consistently. Now, the best he can do is stall and survive outnumbered. I think that's maybe his goal, to help his team create an uneven map state. But the problem is that his team is losing the map, right, while he's doing the stalling, right? And what's happening is that the red team, I think quite wisely perhaps, are just saying, you know what? We know that we can just leave our warrior just to stalemate into the enemy team warrior. And then after that, we'll just go ahead and rotate a thief over and then force him off the node and get the cap for our warrior. And then it will be stale on our node, which is exactly what's happened here. And well, that's why red team is currently winning. And they don't really have a win condition set up for themselves currently, because they're losing the team fight, essentially losing the map, and losing the objective. Not ideal.
Yes, I think probably if you lose all of those things, the game is most likely not going to go your way. And we start to see a little bit of that same sort of snowball effect happening here, where they were unable to regroup on Legacy. They're kind of unable to regroup here now on Skyhammer.
The warrior AFK'd and the guard actually got the signet as she ran over.
Oh, that is not ideal. Unfortunate for the warrior, to be sure. Although, I'm going to be honest, all that really does is they don't get 5 points now. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a little bit worse of a situation for the warrior to be in, but it also really isn't that bad at the end of things, because his team is winning the map elsewhere. The Guardian isn't in the team fight because of it. So, I mean, yeah, it kind of looks like a bit of a meme, but look, I mean, they just get the kill anyways. Although he's going to get rezzed. But, no, wait a minute. No, yeah, he gets rezzed. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think this actually does that much.
Oh, the hammer as well.
Be capped, yeah.
Hammer, is it going to land on any of the players? Which you don't know. The invuln does come through there, actually. Will not land. Or does hit parasitic tendency, actually, that could be really dangerous. There's no signet if this Scourge dies, it might be difficult to revive. Of course, there will be the knockback trait on the revive that could potentially help out there, but the Thief is really looking for parasitic tendency. The healing is good from the Guardian. The kiting should save the day, but again, no Guardian and no Scourge in the team fight, well, or anywhere else on the map, means that those other fights are not ideal whatsoever for Blue, and they lose another player here. Lepra goes down, parasitic tendency dies again. I think we're going to see Fog about to go down there too. Yes, that is the end for Fog. The Thief arrives, but maybe not at the most opportune moment. They're forced to disengage almost immediately, and the Warrior just AFKing now. Like he's like, oh, what do? I'm not sure. I'm just going to jump on some rocks.
Yeah, when in doubt, jump on rocks. Yeah, I mean, I think just because of the nature of the map, Skyhammer, you know, the points are going to be a little bit closer. It is going to be a slightly slower game. Legacy allows you to snowball very hard, but we're not really seeing anything different, I think, overall. I think the blue team maybe are slowing things down just slightly, although, again, that might just be because of the map as well. And I just don't really think we're seeing a lot of improvement here from this blue team in terms of, you know, playing around the snowball. And, yeah, I mean, they're just going into this fight and immediately losing someone. Transfuse does come down here, but that actually might have just screwed over the Guardian. I don't know if he canceled the signal.
And he died as well.
He's going to be brought down, yeah. He'll just go straight into down state. And, yeah, I mean, Red Team have actually given up one of their nodes in order to just farm kills here. It doesn't really matter again. They're very far ahead, and the Warrior will eventually just come back into this and maybe even win this node. We'll probably
this is a bit of a problem. I don't think the Red Warrior can actually decap this. I think it does need the Rev. Yeah, the Rev identifies this and will now be moving over here to actually help the Warrior. And with the Rev again, now the Warrior doesn't do anything, right? He can't really do... it's going to be very difficult to even survive this situation, I think, for the Warrior here. And we might just see a kill onto Warrior, but still, things are not really going blue team's way here, unfortunately. Like, yeah, already neutralized here again. The Rev looking for the kill. The CC is actually just, nearly gets the knock, but the block comes through, denying that knockback away from it. There we go. The CC is good there. Wills and more damage to Lando. Oh no, the Rev actually rolls off, and I think we'll simply just leave after the capture has been secured, particularly with the Thief coming off respawn. Now it's a 3v1 into the Warrior. The Warrior truly doing his very, very best to make this game work. Pops Rampage for that damage reduction. Might somehow get away with this. That would be pretty ridiculous if that was the case. Might survive, has the full counter and the shield block. Wow. Truly incredible gaming here from the Warrior. Survives a very bad spot, but actually, 500 health. Can he hold on? It's a little bit more. 300 full counter and gets the heal. This Warrior really going all out there. His team, can they win a 4v3 though? That's the real question. Unfortunately, it's not really. Actually, it is looking that way. Which you have a kill here on the Seaman Spectre, but the signet does not come through there. It was interrupted there, I believe. Seaman Supply now will go for it again. Here we go, but the Stomp, no, is going to be there before, of course, the signet gets interrupted yet again. So the Warrior did put some work in, but unfortunately, I don't think it's enough, Roy. Right? That was a good 1v2, a good 1v3, but it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the kill coming out there. The problem is that the blue team, they just didn't win fast enough. They did get the kill, but it was so slow that the Warriors actually rotated in. And as long as Skyhammer doesn't cap for blue team, as long as the blue team players that are still on the map don't cap, or decap rather, you know, it's just not going to matter. And the Red Team Thief actually, after winning that, has rotated. He went all the way across the map, decapped point A, the only node that blue team had. Yeah, I mean, again, Red Team they're very far ahead. They're much farther ahead than it looks like, again, just because of how slow things happen on this map. But, you know, now we see the double cap. This game will be over very soon. I think blue team will eventually win this team fight, just because they finally have their actual team fight in this. They're ahead now, so red team are kind of constantly just feeding kills in here, but it won't be in time. It won't matter. Skyhammer not going to be capped. The decap's just not going to come through in time. Point B is all that matters here, and that is going to be GG. So 2-0 for the C-Men Demons for the loser bracket All-Stars, and that will be our second to last match of the day.
Indeed, and that is going to basically wrap up their run in the tournament. They finish with a very, very respectable 2-1 score, and definitely putting up a big, big fight against their major opponents there, Edgy and Sad, or as they have now been renamed, and that is what they will be in the final match, of course, Torben and the Misfits.
Yes, indeed.
Get this game going on here. So, there it is. That is a GG. We now move on to our finale, the final match of the tournament here. Okay, let's see. What colors are the teams going to be here? It's going to be on
red for Torben and Misfits.
Yep, there we go. Torben and the Misfits on the red team. And of course, on blue, it is going to be the Dream Team. The Dream Team. Now that... This could be a tough matchup here for the Dream Team. I believe the Dream Team are 0-2, unfortunately. And of course, their opponents are now 2-0. So kind of the opposite sides of the bracket, essentially, as it were, facing off against each other. Of course, there's no telling what might happen. You could very easily see some kind of upset, I'm sure. But it is certainly going to be one hell of a battle.
Is this a different Reaper? I'm not sure. Is this the same Reaper they were playing before, or is this a different Reaper?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the odds are slightly against the Dream Team there. But yeah, I mean, this match is still relevant because if the Dream Team are able to pull it out, if they can beat the Torben and the Misfits, that does mean Torben and the Misfits will be tied there with the Seaman Demons, and we have to go to potentially a tiebreaker match. It's certainly possible. You never know. I think based off what we've seen from both of these teams previously, we are going to probably see Torben and the Misfits coming out ahead. They are probably the stronger team. And again, I think the team comp there, it just isn't very strong from the Dream Team. But yeah, I mean, can't count a team out until, of course, the game has happened. So we'll have to see. And yeah, I mean, we'll be getting that shortly. We're waiting for one more player here to join the blue team.
Yeah, I think they're looking for the Tempest, I think, to get in the mix there. They're going with the same lineup there, of course. On the red team, a similar thing going on there too. We actually have the Engineer, the Prot Hollow. I think maybe he's had a long day, wants to just kind of chill out, maybe relax on the Quarry node and just not really have too much rotation to think about. So going for that Protection Hollow style there. We, of course, have the Support Guardian there from Torben, a.k.a. Phoenix, the man permabanned from quite a few Discords.
What is this? There's no support on blue team.
Oh,
or well, I guess the Scourge, right? But there's no Guardian, there's no Tempest, and I guess to be fair, the Tempest wasn't really a true support either. It was like a hybrid, right? But they've now gone to a Rev. This is the first Rev that we're going to see from this team, a Herald. This is a very risky play. They're really going in for damage, and the Druid is actually swapped to Core Ranger. It's not going to be Power. This is a much better build for the Ranger, in my opinion. It's a much better side noder build than what he was running before. But the problem with this is, if they cannot get kills, they will get farmed very fast.
Yes.
I don't think that Scourge is going to offer the same sort of support, especially alone without the additional heals that the Tempest was maybe providing before, as the Core Guardian will. Now, obviously, Reaper, Herald, DP Thief on Berserker Amulet, actually on Marauder now, are going to provide a ton of damage. If they can one-shot the Guardian and then keep pressure up and keep cleave up, I mean, who knows? They could win this game because of it. But yeah, I'll have to see what happens. I don't know. My predictions are probably that this is not going to change too much, but I respect it. I like it. I like that they're trying something different than what they've played the last couple of matches and games, and that hasn't really worked out for them. I don't think that Tempest build was very strong. I don't think that Druid build was good. I think that this is a much better Ranger build. I think obviously Power Herald very strong. So I'm hoping to see some cool things from these guys. But here it is, game number 1 in our final set for the day. It is the 2-0 Torben and the Misfits, formerly known as Edgy and Sad, into the 0-2 Dream Team, trying to end their losing streak here, trying to shut down the winning streak of the red team. Let's see what happens. It's Legacy of the Fofire.
Yep, and wow, I mean, blue team starting as they mean to continue, just as you were talking about, like getting some kind of massive snowball, a 4-man push going for the NG, and they actually do get it, to their credit. They've got to confirm it though, and that's going to be on a very nice transfuse there. Can they finish that? Oh no, the res does come through there. Blue team not responding to that very well whatsoever, and now red will try and turn the fight, and with the support they might have a good chance of doing that. They already have the Reaper down there, so looking for the next killer as well. Bear in mind there's no revival capacity there. Oh, there actually is the Scourge thing, of course, did forget about that, but there is, that does get immediately shut down. In fact, the Scourge interrupted, losing that health and not getting the revive, then going into that set there as well. Jort V trying to get out of there as well. The blue team are now moving across. They do technically have a slight advantage right now because they were able to force the red team to entirely retreat over here, but I think the Thief is so low. Just get the heal off there as well. Oh, the Thief can't really do much though, and the Revenant dies, and red team demolish their opponents there, denying the push.
Yeah, they needed to kill the NG just a little bit faster. I actually think it was a pretty good kill on him, but then they didn't follow up in time. They obviously weren't prepared for the transfuse. They also just put themselves in a very bad position down in that sort of like gully that the NG had kited into. It was very easy for them to just cleave down. It's you know, even though they have more damage technically than the blue team, you know, although I'm going to say actually maybe they don't, because they are running that Scourge as an essential support. And to be honest, you know, I think that when you're going for this sort of comp where you're running, you know, you're not running a Core Guardian, I actually would have preferred to see them just double down and have the Scourge go DPS. I think that might have almost been better. I don't think he's going to provide enough value on this sort of support Scourge as he would as just DPS Scourge. I think if they want to try and just hard snowball these fights and just farm kills with a ton of DPS, they should be doing that and not running a support Scourge. Either way, next team fight around here at mid, this is some mortar shots coming off from the NG at the side. The Reaper already going to be down. Say the Scourge now getting trained down by the rest of the team. RF is forced on to the red team Guardian, but not sure it's going to matter as 2 players now going to be in down state. We're seeing a res potential coming out in the Reaper, but the Scourge is going to be in down state as well, and that's really the best res potential they have. Breach is now dropped here offensively by the red team Scourge into the Revenant, who's going to be brought down, and now they're going to be looking to try and find this Thief follow-up. He's almost certainly going to get killed. The Reaper, the Revenant and the Thief going to find that kill, and it's just the Ranger left alive here. And yeah, so far this comp change, again, like the idea, I don't think the execution is quite there. I think the Scourge is a pretty weak link here for this team. Again, the build, not the player. And I think the way they're maybe playing around this is not ideal.
Yeah, it's just not connecting. You know, it's exactly as you said it, right? You know, I like the regroup here from Blue, but if this doesn't get kills, they're all going to die, right? The Guardian will simply make the fight extend out, and at that point, the health bars of Red Team will go back up, and the health bars of Blue Team will not, and then they'll all die.
Yeah. It's, you know, I mean, again, I think that things like this can work. I mean, we saw Ancient Contenders do pretty well yesterday on EU. You know, they ran a comp that was, you know, they didn't have a support. It was just damage. And they definitely lost a lot of fights because of the lack of that support. But I think once they sort of started getting more into their rhythm, sort of figuring out what they wanted to do exactly, we saw them performing a lot better. And they ended up being, I believe, 4th overall there. You know, we've seen, I think, Pain and Aeon's team, they had a pretty similar sort of comp strat in the first HCL. Again, obviously, very, very good players on that team. You know, so they're playing at basically a higher level than I think we're going to see some of these gamers playing. But yeah, I think they're sort of stuck on this support Scourge, and they went from a sort of hybrid DPS Tempest to a Power Rev, which is a great swap. Again, I really think the swap to this Ranger build is good as well, but I think keeping this Scourge here on his current build is a mistake, and it's just not really aiding them in their endeavor here to try and get kills. And so far, I don't know if we've seen anyone die from the red team, actually. The only reason we have points really on the board here from blue team, I think, is because our Waterfall, has been capped for some amount of time, but D now going to change that. He's going to be going for the full cap under Waterfall before the Ranger can get back in there, so that'll add a couple of additional points on the board. But yeah, when you're playing these classes and you're not getting kills, there's just really no chance for you to win. You have to be able to get kills when you're playing Power Herald. You have to be able to get kills when you're playing Power Reaper, and they're not doing that right now.
Yep, it's unfortunate. And I think the really important part about a lot of the comps we saw do a similar roaming style is that, well, they actually have roamers. Like, the simple fact of the matter is that Reaper and Scourge, they're just too reliant on the team, right? They can't survive on their own. If you look at we saw the Weaver, right? The Herald, the Ranger, Thief, Mirage. These are builds that have the ability to disengage a little bit more. Nice res coming out there, maybe. Oh, wait. No, he cancels it. Never mind. Okay. Unfortunate. But regardless of that, that's what really worked out there for, of course, Pain teams like Team Prestige a long time ago in the original HCL, and of course in the Ancient Contenders yesterday, is that they had a lot more self-sustainability. And I don't know, like a Reaper on its own, okay, a Scourge on its own, it's just 5 points, right? It's 5 points waiting to be harvested.
Yeah. I don't even think the Reaper is necessarily bad. I think that we've seen, Mijo has played Reaper very consistently. That's really almost all he plays, although we've seen him swap builds sometimes. But, I think he gets a ton of value on EU in a lot of his teams. Obviously, a very, very competent player, so there's that. But, oh, look at this Ranger. He's hiding in his cave as D comes in. He's going to make his way over to the Waterfall and stop that decap. But, unfortunately for him, it just isn't really going to matter. But, yeah, I don't think Reaper is necessarily a problem. Again, I'm going to keep coming back to the Scourge. I think that is certainly the weakest link of this team. I think you know, maybe it wouldn't change anything. Maybe if this Scourge was on a DPS spec, or entire, you know, maybe just a DPS Scourge spec instead of, you know, changing to like Nade Hollow or something, maybe it wouldn't matter. But I think that the fact is, when he's playing the support Scourge, they're kind of neutering themselves because he's just not providing even close to the same level of support as the Guardian will, and therefore he's just losing value by being there, by existing. You know, if you're doing less than your enemy sort of counterpart is just because of the class you're playing, you're already behind.
Yep. Definitely very, very difficult there as well. You know, you could definitely go for maybe the more DPS-oriented Scourge, a bit like what we even see Res God X going for, right? But yeah, the one that we see here from the blue team, it's just, to be frank, it's just not a very good build for competitive PvP. It's like, it's all right if you want to play maybe ranked and maybe some lower level tournament stuff, but it's just not good anymore. Oh, we do see a Lord push coming up from
Finally.
Red. They might be able to get it, actually.
Some team has balls.
They might be able to find this. There is time. They've got 50 points left. And blue team, they might just let them have it, actually. The Scourge, although, you know what?
I don't think so. They're going to fight it.
The Scourge can signet it, by the way. Like, this could be a big play.
That's true. We could see a signet coming out from the Scourge here. Red team grouping up here. The only person they don't have with them is going to be the Guardian, who's going to AFK on mid and stop the Thief from being able to decap it. Blue team trying to group up to prevent this. The Ranger, though, AFKing on Waterfall, so they're actually outnumbered on their own Lord. There's going to be a heal here coming out from the Lord. The guards coming into play now. There's actually a decent amount of pressure now onto the Scourge. He is going to go down state, and without his Guardian here, there's not going to be a lot of potential to res. And Red team actually crumbling on top of the Lord, outnumbered.
They made a really big mistake. They left the casters alive. It's funny. This kind of reminds me of something that happened in the Worms, right? A very long time ago. There was an AT on EU when the Worms went for a Lord push, but they didn't kill the casters. For those who don't know, the caster mobs here, not only do they do extremely high damage, they also heal the Lord for a ridiculous amount. And, well, yeah, like, the Lord got its heal off, but also the casters massively healed the Lord again, and just not enough sustain. Yeah, they are actually going to get decapped here, of course. I think Red is still going to win. They're simply going to re-push to the quarry, and Red team will have a hard time answering that with the full respawns. I mean, the Guardian being dead, if there was a time to strike, it is now. There's no support. Blue need to be pushing. Yeah, they're going closer. They need to be pushing this far node, right? Like, they're just going to allow the game kind of slip away from a potential combat there, because they had a good 20 seconds where the Guardian was dead, right? And now he's back. But imagine if they'd pushed and got another kill and snowball there. That was actually... That was the winnable moment, actually. That was their way back into the game.
Yep. So, unfortunately, for the Dream Team, they are going to lose here on Legacy to Torben and the Misfits. But there is a silver lining. Torben and the Misfits did lose to PvE. They actually got beaten by NPCs. So I think the real victors are the Lord and his casters here from the blue side of things.
Yeah. I mean, so there is that, you know. They may not have 500 points, but they do have their Lord very much intact with the caster NPCs standing firm.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it would be really cool if you could, like, you know, a cool comeback mechanic, I think, for this map could be the team that's losing, right? If they get behind by like 150 or 200 points, you can summon your Lord and
it's like an all-in move
out into the map.
Yeah, so
like in Stronghold. Yeah. I think that would be really cool. Obviously, if he dies, you lose 150 points, but he will push out into the map and fight with you.
I think that would be really cool. That would be a really sounds like a very fun mechanic, right? Like maybe at 10 minutes into the game, both Lords push mid.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I mean that would be interesting. I don't know if both Lords. I think my head is better, actually. I like my idea more.
If both do it, it means that it's easy. Sucks. It's easier to throw, though, right? Like if you both.
I mean, I guess it's also easier to just continue snowballing, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh man.
Okay.
It's like it's like summoning Turiosa, right, on Stronghold, except it's the Lord.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Channel like a big mist essence. Push the Lord out. I like that. Honestly, that wouldn't even be a bad mechanic. I feel like because I feel like it wouldn't be good. You know, it would be.
Wait, are you saying the only good mechanics are bad ones?
Well, you want a mechanic to not like completely screw over the map, right? For example, I think Capricorn's a really good example of this. Is that the mechanic is probably a little bit too good, and I'd say Colosseum too, right? Like if you don't have an answer to the bell, and you don't have an answer to say obtaining the sword and shield buff on Colosseum. you're gonna have a very bad time. Same thing with Temple, right? Like if you're like a dedicated team fight comp, you've got like double Necro. It's just not gonna work there, right? It's just not gonna work whatsoever. Whereas I think like one of the best mechanics is something like the Beast, because then the Beast, it's sometimes you'll see a lot of Beasts in the game, but other times you'll only see like 0 or like 1 or 2. Because the mechanic does not dictate the flow of the game. Whereas if you look at something like Capricorn, whatever way you slice it, the bell is going to dictate how that game plays out. Like, you are going to have to play around that mechanic. So it's a little bit more elegant. It kind of sucks when it gets stolen, though.
I mean, yeah, the thing is, like, if both teams ignored the bell on Capricorn, though, it would basically result in the same thing as Forest, right? Where if both teams... Because... Here's the thing. I think when one team is dominating the other, they go for Beasts on Forest, right? They usually won't go for Beasts because if you go for Beasts, you're losing value somewhere else. But with Capricorn, when the bell comes up, both teams just go for it. Neither team is like, oh, we're just gonna sack it and go. And part of the reason for that is because obviously the more bells you cap, the higher the points go, right? And so then you can end up losing if the game goes long enough, 150, 250 points or something. So I get a little bit of what you're saying, but I think it is, I don't know. I don't think the bell is necessarily that dominant. I think we did sort of see an example of that yesterday where Ancient Contenders lost to Public Enemy in their first game, and a big part of it was because of the bell. But at the same time, the reason they lost those bells every single time is because their comp couldn't team fight. And so I think that was the big issue, and they just didn't play the map well enough. That being said, final
switch
game
up.
Of the day.
Big
if
switch
red
up.
team win it. And oh yeah, there it is. There's the core guard.
And the Tempest. So we have Tempest and we have double support, kind of, a little bit, maybe. Actually, for this team fight. Well, the thing is, though, they did give up a Necromancer for that. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if this really ends up paying off here because they almost lack that really offensive punch now to break through. I mean, look at this. Like, how can they break through Scourge Core Guard, right? I'm not sure if they can.
Yeah, I think they should have kept the Reaper. I would have liked to have seen that Reaper, but I guess maybe the players they had to put on the classes just couldn't keep that Reaper in there in that comp. So it is going to be that DPS Tempest again. Currently kiting for all he's worth. Doesn't have a lot of cooldowns left, though. He's going to be forced to probably burn his heal in a second here. Also running Warhorn, which I think is an interesting choice. I think Focus would maybe aid him a little bit better. Either way, currently getting trained down now by the Revenant. He's going to go into the Tornado, though, and that will potentially allow him to peel for himself. But they're not really getting... Oh, wait a minute. D actually does die off in Rhodes, so Blue Team find the first kill of this game. If they can find a way to peel now for their Tempest and turn this into a cap on a mid, this would be a winning position for them to be in. The Thief probably the least impactful kill for them to have gotten, though, I think, out of all 5 players in terms of in winning the map control. But they do turn it into a decap on the C, almost certainly.
Yeah, they should be able to find that there as well. The Ranger, Tempest, and Thief over here. There is the neutralization. Yeah, Blue they are officially winning the game at this point. This is a great spot for them to be in. They should be able to stalemate point B over here. So let's see. What is the next move going to be? It's in fact going to be a rotation from the Thief towards middle to look for a kill onto the Scourge or the Guardian. Let's see if they can find it. They have the Rev and the Thief. It's a lot of DPS. So I think the red team will be forced to kite and maybe give up the node. But they do, for our blue team, they try maybe a little bit too much greed, contesting this third node as well, leading to an outnumber there. If the Ranger can live, this is okay, but I'm not sure he can. There's a bit more evasion left over there. Doesn't have the blocker build for the time being, though, and that's a bit of an unfortunate situation. That's now going to allow a big recovery from red team, who will just push immediately into mid and look for kills.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think getting that kill on D was nice, but killing the Thief doesn't really allow you to snowball the map as, killing the Guardian, killing the Necro, killing the Revenant maybe would, because then you can just easily swing the team fight. D dies, and, yeah, I mean, you can push far and you're not going to get plus, but then you're not really, if you don't, confirm a kill elsewhere, you're not winning that middle node, then you haven't been able to win the middle node even after getting that first kill. Pushing into far, I mean, D's able to get there very easily. He easily pluses that. They did get the decap, but it turned into 2 kills. They're not going to win the team fight now because they lost 2 kills at far, and yeah, they had a winning chance, but unfortunately now we're seeing them kind of get snowballed here. They do get a res. They're going to be able to salvage this slightly. They're still able to fight into mid, but they're not going to be able to continue to fighting here unless they get more players in there. And the Revenant just coming in off respawn might not be in time to save this Tempest's life.
Some nice kiting. It actually does have a port back. Nice. Gets it. Can the blue team maybe capitalize that and res that? Here comes the Signet. Oh, it's close. Oh, unfortunately, that was nearly actually a good revive, but sadly, The Tempest will now get eliminated. Guardian has renewed focus, so can hang on here for a little while. And blue team still maintaining a bit of a lead here. Doing it. Oh, that was a little bit close. Falling damage was nearly a bit of an unfortunate one there for the blue Guardian. Just hang on there. And blue doing a good job of actually not losing everything. Like, you can really see the stability that the core Guardian adds. Although, well, it's dead now. That stability's gone. But, you know, in the earlier fights, like, it was definitely providing a lot of value to blue.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, see, it's a funny joke because the Guardian applies stability. And also it makes the team fights more stable for blue, see? It's kind of like a double meme there, Roy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Core Guard's a good class, I think is what Teapot wanted to say, and he is right. It is a pretty strong spec in Conquest. In the Conquest mode, in fact. By the way, though, Skyhammer just barely being contested still here by blue team. They are sort of losing the rest of the map here. And yeah, the Ranger dies elsewhere. The Thief cannot really stay on this node for much longer. Unfortunately, Original Gangster not going to be able to stay on it much longer himself. He's going to have to kite off. We do see the Guardian coming in, though. So there's that support that was desperately needed. Jadewin's coming out from the Revenant. Actually hits 4 players here from red team. Well's going to be dropped, though, defensively here from the Necromancer on the red side. And, ooh, a big CC chain here. And that's going to get at least 1 now. 2 down stayed in the Original Gangster. Only alive because of missed for him. He's going to be followed up quickly. Skyhammer confirmed here. And yeah, what started out could have been a good fight. Unfortunately, turned into a very large deficit here for the blue team. And I'm, you know, I mean, again, time after time after time, I'm going to say this. I think blue team are really severely weakening themselves because of their comp. They don't have a Necro, and I think Necro's really good at team fighting. It's just very good, and there's a Necro on the side of red team. And they're winning team fights, and they have a DPS Tempest with Warhorn. It's actually a support Tempest, even. He's got Avatar Amulet on now. Maybe that's what he was running before. I don't know. I mean, he still has Lightning Rod, obviously, but I just don't think this Tempest is going to perform. It's the same thing as before. The support Scourge does not provide the same amount of value as the Core Guardian. The hybrid Tempest does not provide the same amount of value as a Scourge.
Yeah, it really is simple as that. You know, in a way, they're very similar roles, right? You know, they're hybrid damage dealer supports, exactly what the Tempest and the Scourge both are, but Scourge is just significantly stronger, able to dish out great damage, and also have that just devastating control effect there with the Garcia Breach, Wild of Darkness, Wild Corruption, and of course, all the fear and juicy boon corruption that comes with playing Necromancer as well. And that's just so much value here. And the red team, they're just taking that and running with it.
The boon corruption alone, I think, is actually huge because, I mean, Guardian obviously provides a lot of boons. Necro strips them away. If you're not counter-stripping those boons away, your Guardian is just less effective than the other team's Guardian.
There is an amazing bug happening right now.
Oh?
The Guardian is permanently linked with his downstate auto attack with Res God X forever.
Wait, what? I don't see that.
I think it's only on my screen. I think a client glitch. But yeah. Like it's actually like, no matter where they are, the beam will connect them. They're destined to be together. I mean, that's pretty OP. And funny enough, that actually can happen while you're playing the game. So in theory, it can happen with a Druid auto attack to any like beam type attack. You can actually get permanently linked, and if it happens to you, you'll be able to permanently see where the other player is because of this. This actually does happen in real games too, but now it's happening in this game, which is also a real game.
What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean real games?
We're just saying this is
a simulation.
It's a custom game, right? This is a fake game, not a real game.
I guess, sure. Absolutely, yeah. And either way, though, again, I think because, we said this the last time we saw Skyhammer, because of Skyhammer, it's going to be slightly of a slower match, just because of the nature of the map, although I would say Red Team are doing a pretty good job of pushing these points out, and I don't think we're going to end up seeing a timer game unless Blue Team are able to sort of regroup and slow them down even more, but yeah, I mean, comp is just so important. I think we talk about comp so often, but we have to, right? I mean, that's just how it is. Like, comp is just so important. If you pick bad classes or bad builds into people who are picking good classes and good builds, it's just not going to work. And you can definitely play different comps. It's not like you can't play different comps, right? I mean, again, I'm going to come back to Ancient Contenders. They played a very different comp than what a lot of players teams will run. They didn't run a support, and they did pretty well with it. They're obviously very good players, so that's part of the reason, but I think just you're severely limiting yourself when you're running things like this Tempest, like the Scourge they were running last game. And there's definitely some good things happening. They swapped to this Core Guardian. They had the Ranger go to definitely a stronger build, but to be fair as well, I don't know that the Rangers really getting much value out of 1v1s either. Or side noting, he's not really getting the same value we saw the Warriors on those other teams getting out of their side node builds, or the minion mancers we've seen. And I think that they definitely want to try and take advantage of that as well. But 200 points left here for red team. Just don't think it's in the books there for blue.
Well, when it comes to comp, I think these kind of games can be a little bit difficult to analyze because, you know, yeah, the Rangers not getting value, they're not getting value in the team fight, but those two things are in a way intrinsically linked, right? Like the Ranger can't do anything because his team's dead, right? Like, and because the Ranger's dead, right, it makes it even harder to, you know, or rather because the team's dead, it's hard to control the map, right? It kind of is a very, very vicious cycle of things that are going on there. Like nothing is really working out, unfortunately, for the Dream Team. Okay, I think they've had a harsh awakening, right? They're no longer in Dream World.
Indeed, and you know. Again, I respect the choices. It's cool to see a Tempest because obviously Tempest is a very fun class, and unfortunately, it's just not as good as it used to be. But it just does not match up to the other classes in the game. And in fact, I mean, even if this guy's running Weaver, I think that would even be maybe better. But you know, regardless, we are getting pretty close to the point of no return here for this blue team. I mean, 200 points, more than 200 points behind, only 5.5 minutes left in the game. They'd be very hard pressed to be able to win at this point. Triple capping is almost a necessity for them, and I don't think that's going to happen. The red team's certainly not going to give up all 3 nodes, even if they gave up one of the 2 they have. So we do see the decap coming out on a B, and yet GG has actually been called there by Original Gangster. Let me just
confirm it, of course. Yeah, but I mean that's a full wipe, so it's going to be called whether they want to or not at this point, I'm afraid. Very, very big problem here as well, but I believe that will be a confirmed GG.
It is.
Yep, it is confirmed. Well, congratulations there, Torben and the Misfits. They secure themselves another win here as well, going up 3-0 in overall map score.
And more importantly, they confirm themselves a spot in the invitational bracket with the other NA teams in 2 weeks' time. So we may, well, assuming they accept, of course, we will see them again in 2 weeks. But yeah, obviously GG's, you know, I think a lot of people might say that these games are lackluster compared to the EU games we had yesterday, but I think the thing to focus on is that we had 4 teams come out. And again, you know, these are players that we're not actually as used to seeing. You know, we don't have the Grim Jack and Onion teams. We don't have Team USA showing up here. And this is how you build the scene up, right? And so I think, you know, big shout out to all 4 of the NA teams we had. Love to see the Seamen Demons again. Love to see the loser bracket All-Stars again. Obviously, some names we recognize here on Torben and the Misfits, so that's, of course, good. It's not unknown players either. But yeah, you know, shout out to all the 4 teams that we had for today for NA. Love to see it. Love that they were able to sort of adapt to the brackets or the format switch we threw at them here with the round robin. And yeah, good games all around.
Roy, can you have a quick chat with Misfire real quick?
Why?
We may have a little situation on our hands here. Okay.
Oh. All right. Well, we will address that after the
Yep.
Yeah, we can address that later. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But of course, congratulations there as well to all of our glorious winners. The overall standings, let me go and check how that's going to be. It's going to be Torben and the Misfits in first place, Seamen Demons in second place, Loser Bracket All-Stars in third, I believe, and then the Dream Team in fourth. And yeah, I just want to really reiterate what Roy said there. You know, like the purpose of these events here, it is to build up teams. It is to grow the scene overall there. And look, right now, guys, we have a beautiful sprout of life emerging from the rich, loamy soil of the NA server, and we will continue to nourish that as well with further events. You know, double gold tournament stuff. There's some other fun PvP events that we have in store there as well. Of course, this tournament is not even over yet itself, guys. We're going to be having, you know, the invitational bracket section of this tournament in 2 weeks' time from now, and that will feature all of the top teams that you might be thinking, like, why didn't they play in this tournament? Well, they didn't play because they have to wait a little while to get on the scene there. You'll be seeing finally another legendary crash, a matchup we haven't seen for a very long time. It's going to be rank 55 Dragons versus Team USA. Of course, that might happen in the global finals.
We'll see that.
We don't know. I mean, yeah, of course, both those teams could easily throw, right, and might not make it to the global finals. But of course, I think we will likely see that. Of course, other amazing teams there. You'll be seeing the Worms there as well. Dark Horse, which is kind of, it's the Grimjack team, guys. That's what it is. It's got Grimjack in it. It's going to be there. We also have a team being formed there by Chunsu as well on the EU. Maybe some other stuff as well. We're still working out some of the details on some of these teams, but surely it will be a pretty epic show. The serial killers there as well for EU. You can go check that out on !HCL in the chat to go and see stuff. And then also, Roy's going to say something, but first, guys, send over all your gold right now to me. Send it to me. Send it to Roy. Send it to the Guild Bank. Wherever you send it to the tournament so we can make the prize pool as big as we can possibly make it. And of course, if you are interested in supporting it with a few dollarinos, we've got a Matcherino page up there as well. I'm actually, I'm showing you guys how easy it is to generate free money because honestly, they're so lazy, Roy. Okay, they really are. They are turning down free money. Get on over here, guys, to matcherino.com/T/HCL, and not only throw your big PayPal money all over those. Dude, Renji, I love Renji has changed his profile picture on Twitch, by the way, to the new thief thing there as well. Okay, that's big. Glad to see some more data. But yes, get in here, guys. You can actually get an insane amount of free money, just like Edgy Meme Bear, by subscribing to YouTube channels, following links, doing all that sort of stuff here as well. It is literally free money for doing a few basic things on social media. If everyone did that, we would have at least $1,000 of free money. So get in there, click on a few links, do it for Guild Wars 2 Esport, guys. Okay, but anyway, thank you for all the donations already, guys. We already have $245, I believe, actually, in the pool. I'll be throwing in 2,000 courtesy of Ashmite once we get to the invitational there as well. So thank you very much, guys. We very much appreciate that a whole lot there as well. And, of course, stay tuned for more. Roy, do you have any words?
What, so you can mute me again?
Yes. I fixed that now.
Yeah. Sure, buddy. Yeah. No, just like I said before. Am I muted yet?
No, you're good. No, I would never do that.
GG's to the NA teams. GG's to the NA teams. You love to see it. I'm glad we were able to get the representation out there from NA because we had some very good games yesterday on EU. We were a little concerned about having the NA open bracket. But of course, obviously, we did play it and we did run it. So GG's and congratulations to those 4 teams who showed up to play. And I've been saying it a few times. I am really looking forward to the next 2 weeks from now, the invitational bracket. I think we're going to have some really cool games. Like you said, we're going to see potentially 55 versus USA again, a matchup we have not seen since the MOTA. Of course, a lot of other really strong contenders, a lot of other strong teams there. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for coming out and watching the streams yesterday and today. Obviously, support Teapot, support the boys, Hardstuck, etc. And yeah, hope you all have a great night. Until next time.
Absolutely. That does just about wrap things up there as well. And yes, I can merely echo that sentiment. I really appreciate all of you guys coming out in a very good reception there. We actually at 900 viewers, Roy, for the NA Open Bracket. And that is fantastic. I love to see that you guys want to see these teams, these new up-and-coming teams, get out there and make a name for themselves. And of course, we very much hope to see them in some of our future events. And add to the number, add to the roster there as well. I want to see that 50-team tournament again, Roy. That was awesome with the Hardstuck Conquest League 1. This one, okay, everyone's asleep. I get it, right? We're in the downtime between the expansion. But you know what? We're going to have to keep things a little bit spicier and get things heated up there as well. So stay tuned for all of our plans. And it won't just be external tournaments, guys. We actually have a lot of ideas for things inside of the game using automated tournaments, custom arenas, and maybe some other fun things as well. So stay tuned for all that, guys. Join the Discord, stay up to date, follow the social media, and go big. I'm going to continue streaming now and probably yell about win trading a little bit because you know what? Why not? But yes, thank you very much, Roy, for stepping in here and doing some big commentating and adminning and making my life easier. I love the easy life, and that's why I love Roy.
Very good. Very nice. Thank you, Teapot. Yep. You all have a great rest of your evening. Until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.
See you later.